Hello, everybody, and welcome to Graded Point Live. And I will remind my co-host. I will remind my co-host that we are never late because I am never late. So.
You can't be tardy and homosexual if you decide what time is. I don't know. You're like a wizard, I guess.
Exactly.
You arrive precisely when you mean
He
to.
controls time and space.
And Venus.
Excuse me.
Let's,
Just get really quiet.
What's going on there, big guy?
Something's tickling my throat over and over again.
Okay.
Is it a penis?
Oh Lord, how I wish. No,
That went places.
anyway, but no, something's tickling my throat. So anyway, as you can tell by the title, that we are going to go into some deepest lore regarding the founding and evolution of our illustrious channel here. So as you know, we have Optimus here. We got our illustrious Doc Bray.
Hello.
Mulatto, and
Hello.
Nicole.
She's the MLG air horn.
What?
Yeah.
Way to go, Piper. Way to be involved in the conversation. That's what we keep you around for you
Yep.
for us to throw a vague question your way. And go, huh?
Huh?
Why?
I wasn't ready.
Why?
I wasn't ready. Jesus Christ.
No one is ever ready. Am I ready? No, I am never ready. Oh God.
Well,
Anyway,
this is
so
off to a great start.
isn't it? And I'm also
Yeah,
Eagle Bob the Almighty.
I've got to say something real quick.
Okay.
Some people's chat messages are actually showing up popping up in the
I
stream.
took care
They
of
were
it.
for a second. I think he was trying to do a thing, but then decided not to do the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, damn!
Don't you?
That actually would have been kind of fun.
Don't you?
But
worry
I would
about
tell you,
the things that I do.
It's way too late for this now, Wayne. But Streamlabs OBS has a way to just easily pipe in stream chat as an overlay.
Yeah, I know. I just did. I only do it once in a blue moon. So.
I'll have to teach you. I'll have to teach you like the good way.
So, as this is a special stream, it's me and Bray were brought on in order to recount very, very early history regarding this stream. Because this stream evolved like 3 times from 3 different websites. Let's see. So we got Mindless Zombie Studios. That was a long ass time ago. The way that site was founded, it was founded as the original founder's blog, and that man was my friend Jason Golden for some 14 odd years. We aren't now, whatever. I'm not going to let that affect me. So
Yeah. Jason was the head of the MCS before it burned down. He ended up being head of the back issues before it burned down, and he was head of Graded Point 5 before we saved it from being burned down. And it transferred ownership over to Jordan and OptiPops here.
around 2014, that's when Jason was struggling with money, and he had an idea to try and turn his blog into a how do I say this? He'd basically repost written like blog posts from random people on Twitter, and I would go out and look for them, and I'd ask them if they'd be okay with it. We were posting this stuff, so we just like slowly gather people, and I think it's about 2014, 2015 is when we met Piper. Now Piper was going to be like a real like blue in the blood SJW, but she started like noticing that things were going wrong with Gamergate, in that the sense that she was not getting the whole story.
Yeah, that
So
was straight 2014. Then, like shortly after it started.
Yes. So she was going to She was going to be on the perpetually offended side, and she approached the Gamergate tag, asking for help, like to understand why we were so fucking angry at that time.
And by
And-
asking for help, it was I said Gamergate. Anybody that supports Gamergate should kill themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, that sounds like something that fucking Piper would say.
Yep.
But I was responding personally to a post in which she was like, "Okay, well, can y'all explain this sort of things then?"
Yeah, I will say that the response to "Y'all should kill yourselves" was not horrible. It was like,
I mean, but you got to come in harder. I mean, if you say kill yourself, that's like oh, that's what, some level 1 4chan shit.
Yeah, that's
yeah, no, I
that's-
was actually pissed about something when I did it.
Imagine being so angry you unironically tell people to kill themselves.
Yeah. I was actually pissed off about something because I love video games, and I just remember being pissed off. The reason we're always late.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
anyways, Piper eventually calms down a little bit, and she like asks for like evidence of why we were angry. And
Yeah.
So I was her first responder. I was like, okay, everybody, just calm down. Don't reply to her. I got this, because honestly, Gamergate people were fucking autists, and everyone would fucking jump onto one fucking tweet if you didn't like tell everybody to calm the fuck down.
Mm.
So anyway, this ended up being like the reason why I kind of like jokingly called Piper my apprentice. I slowly like taught her the reasons why Gamergate was pissed off, and it was the fact that, you know, fucking Johnny was so badly done off by Quinn, and I gave her like this big fucking get good list of all the happenings, and then she just looked through it and she calmed the fuck down, and then because we were also doing the MZS stuff, Gamergate at that time had a tendency to have like all these like 10, 15 people streams, and
Fucking A.
Mindless Zombie Studios was not also one of these people that would one of these sites, I should say, that would do these 15 fucking people streams. And if I remember correctly, she got invited on by Jason because I managed to point out that she's not, you know, fucking retarded. And and then she kind of became orbited around that for a little while we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with Mindless Zombie Studios. And we gathered, like, between me and Jason, we gathered like Gwen, Lily Knight, Adil, Claw, Dick, Bray, and kind of Wayne at the time, if I remember correctly.
I was a periphery.
Yeah, you were a periphery, and you weren't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And because Jason was having financial issues, we had to try and figure out how to monetize this shit. But the thing with Jason is you got to realize is that he's terrified of success.
Oh, yes, that's...
I'm sucking down some menthol right now. Anyway.
Deep into your lungs.
Deep into my lungs. Anyway, so we get to the point where he's going to start, you know, monetizing this to get like AdSense on there. We're going to take all the N-words off of MZS Studio because there was a whole lot of N-words just so we can get AdSense for him.
But we haven't met Jordan yet. What the?
There was a couple. Honestly, there was a couple in the post that we just kind of left there because of, you know, editorial oversight and artist freedom and whatnot.
Right.
But because he was fearful of success, he panics and he decides that he's going to shut down everything. He shuts down MZS. He hands off the backups to me and fucking Bray.
And there was a bit of it almost seemed like politics at the time, but it ended up just being personal disagreements between a couple people, and he thought that people were trying to like take over and burn down his house because people came up with valid suggestions on things we should change. Like he was calling himself a non-profit site. Non-profit website, which is actually a kind of a no-no to put it in that terms. You could say we're volunteer, you could say we don't do this for our profit, but stating that you are non-profit brings very distinct connotations of you being a 501c3.
Yeah, I was gonna interject that nonprofit entails having a tax classification of 501c3.
Yeah.
You can call yourself not for profit.
Yeah.
And that means that you're not in this to make money, but in a way you kind of are because you do have AdSense. So,
Yeah.
so the best you could say is like we rely totally on ad support. That would have been a way to say it, and things like that. That's what I would have said. That we rely totally on ad support, and we're only going to have this one banner ad, and that's it. Kind of thing.
But because he was in a manic phase, because yes, he was bipolar, he decides that everyone is trying to steal the website from under him, and he burns down everything. Now, that's where Super Nerdland came out of. So, Bray, Gwyn Lily Knight...
Now, wait, Mike, if I may, interject one thing. Because remember, the idea, I think there was already some start, but the idea was to try to rebuild it where Jason wouldn't have to do as much.
Or if anything, because we were trying our best. Trying our goddamn best in order to make sure that he was able to get some sort of financial support.
And reiterate what Mike said. This was all for him. Everybody was basically going to work for free so he could have some money.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say everybody, I mean like back end people. Like that's Josh's like forte, right?
Oh, Sean! I forgot Sean.
And Sean Sean totally rebuilt the site at one point. Remember that?
He worked an entire weekend straight.
Mm-hmm. I remember because he popped into Skype like he had spent like from Friday night until like Sunday afternoon, no sleep.
Jesus.
No sleep, not to what whatsoever.
And he comes in, and you hear in his voice how, you ever heard the tired voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that voice. It was like Jason wanted to talk to my stuff. I said, I think he needs to go to bed, because he had a regular job. He needs to go to work,
Right.
So let's see. Sean basically broke his back building the goddamn back end. Gwyn Lily Knight more or less helped gather people. A deal was a deal. Dick actually did a couple of writing pieces here and there. Jason was Jason. And
this also goes back to the whole Jason is scared of success kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So since he was so scared of success, he hands off the responsibilities to, me, Bray, and I kind of Gwyn Lily Knight, and Jonathan. And Jonathan, remember Jonathan?
There's a capitalist Jonathan that
Yeah,
was part like it's like, and I knew it's like I'm trying to imagine just the people in the chat just trying to piece this all together, but just the kind of like if anybody just joined in to recap, there was an entity before Super Nerdland, before Graded Point 5, and before even the older podcast, which was Back Issues, which was called Mindless Zombie Studios, which was made by a person named Jason Golden. And we're kind of going over how some of those projects failed right now to lead to where we are now with different people in control, all that happy shit.
What we're saying is like the origins is not Chief Justice Optimus.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to acknowledge that because I wouldn't be here if not for these folks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially.
Yeah. Well, same thing in my case.
Yeah.
In
Especially
Jason's
Jordan,
manic periods.
especially Jordan and Josh, because they were the ones like after Jason decided to, we'll get to that part. But when things were decided,
we'll get to that sordid affair.
When things decided that they said, "Hey, you guy, you have good ideas, you do thing." KK,
Excuse me, sorry.
I said KK, lol, and then we got where we're at. So, but continue. I'm sorry.
So then we ended up founding Super Nerdland because we put the name to a vote, and we had so many dumb fucking ideas. I can't remember half of them.
I know the one that I had an issue with was supernerd.land.
Oh my god, that was a fucking terrible idea.
It's a great idea. I was like, it's fucking stupid.
You never work with that. You never do those pun things.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Supernerd.land, and somebody said, but you can buy any domain, at the end you want. I'm like, just because you can doesn't mean
you should.
Yeah, and so I said, if you're gonna do this, it needs to be supernerdland.com. I was like, And I said, I'm not trying to be funny, but the .com does carry some gravitas, you know.
Mhm.
And I said it makes it feel
Yeah.
official, you know. That was just my
So-
thoughts. So, but yeah, continue.
It went from Jason being editor-in-chief to Bray being editor-in-chief de facto, because Bray became the back-end builder, the site builder, the editor, editor-in-chief, and occasional writer, because holy shit, this bald man is crazy.
And also, well, just I remember a little detail, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
When the whole blow up happened, and Jason for some reason thought people were trying to take it from him. Now, this is Jason's, to try to give everybody an idea. Jason's idea was XYZ give me is a suggestion, right?
Mhm.
That suggestion means you're trying to take over what I'm doing. So instead of you letting you take over what I'm doing, instead of just getting rid of you, I'm going to burn everything to the ground.
Yeah.
Because he also hated to talk to people about issues he may have.
Right.
Boy,
Oh, yes.
fucking howdy, did he hate to do that shit.
Yes,
Fucking Christ.
you had to twist his arm in order to get him to try and confront somebody, because he was also terrified of conflict. So he was terrified of success, terrified of conflict, and so that was part of the reason why that whole thing burned down. So while we're doing the Super Nerdland thing, we're getting articles up on the website and we're putting things down. He gets in his head to make a podcast called Back Issues. Now that's an actually really cool fucking name if you think about it. I mean, you're talking about you're talking. It's like a double pun. You're like talking about the back issues of comics, or also like the back issues of comic politics. And I think Wayne, you'll have to go from here, because that's where my memory gets fuzzy, because I kind of fell off from ever like working with Jason.
Yeah,
Um,
on personally with anything, yeah, because like was it more the beginning of that, like him, his girlfriend at the time, Jamie and Gwen and some other people?
Yeah, he pulled me on early into that because he was trying to figure who he could talk to about comics, and he knew I loved comics.
Oh, and
Which, by the way,
way,
welcome to the stream, Gwen
This is-
Lily Knight.
Hello, Glenn. Welcome aboard.
I'm not normally awake this late.
You stay awake for good people. And by the way, in case anybody doesn't notice, I changed Piper's name to the reason we are always late.
Yeah, I laughed about that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Damn Piper, it's always your goddamn fault.
I just wanted to point that out.
No, it's
I
never.
remember all sorts of stuff about those times, especially
So-
early in back issues.
I know that back
Okay,
issues
so-
that Jason really wanted me involved, and I was like one of those things. After seeing and witnessing what happened with MZS and Super Nerdland, I'm like, I'll come on once in a while. That's kind of but my thing was
An orbiter, more or less, because
yeah.
you were an occasional guest, and that was a good thing, because I remember those videos weren't the worst, unless Jamie was like really fucking involved. Jamie was the second reason why that back issues kind of fell through as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
'Cause if I-
remember.
Kind of a black hole of charisma and a very husky voice, because they were I don't mean this to be insulting to anybody who happens transitioning. Heavy quotations around the trans.
Where's my crane?
But she was invited when I was trying to do a series, a Yuri podcast, and she was invited on. She tanked that. And then she was invited to do back issues, and so of course she tanked that too. But that was Jason's call, and I remember him telling me the reason he decided he hated back issues was because other people used the name.
Well, yeah, I remember him mentioning that to me shortly after I got involved, because if I remember correctly, Jamie had pushed Jason to basically a breaking point, and he kicked her ass to the curb. And that's when he asked me if I wanted to be part of it, despite the fact that I wasn't really a comics guy, but I had an analytical mind. He's like, I think that'll be a good addition instead of just having a bunch of people who are spurgy about comic books.
Yeah, I remember a bit before that, he tried to invite me on a couple times to talk about disabled superheroes like Batgirl, Oracle, and then Jamie would just take it completely off topic. And after trying I just gave up, and I told him that he needed to do something about it because she just would take whatever topic they were supposed to be talking about in comics off topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that, given how little energy I had, I wasn't interested in being involved even anymore, because I was interested, and we would talk over Steam chat all the damn time about comics. We talked all the time about comics. He was the only person that would just message me just to talk about comics out of the blue, and I appreciated it. And I told him that he wouldn't succeed as long as she was on there. I told him that flat out, but it still took like a while. Like, how many episodes since the Batgirl episode were there? I don't remember, but there was a bunch after that.
I want to say like
kept
10 episodes after
She was on there as long as they were going out.
Yeah, because I told him to drop her. I told him to drop her as soon as that episode happened.
He sounded like this, or sorry, she sounded like this, and
Hi guys.
hi.
I remember what the final straw for some people was when I got her a game and she bitched and moaned at me for like 5 hours straight, saying how bad the game was, and I felt bad that I had.
Let me frame this, if I may, Gwen. Gwen is somebody. Gwen, you're a wonderful person, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Okay.
A limited income, giving a game away to somebody because they said they wanted to try it out, and Gwen's like, "Okay, here," and then they bitch about it the entire time they're playing.
I've been trying to help them with their depression, or something. They've been talking to me a bit about on Steam about how depressed they were and about how they really just needed a game to help them get through that depression. And, at that time, I try to help everyone that I know. I mean, someone needs money. If I have it to spare, I will always loan it to them, or even just give it to them, and say, just pay me back in a way that doesn't cost you money, And so I got that for her, and she bitched about it for like 5 hours, and I'm like, why did it was
disheartening.
Why was that the last straw?
Okay, the last straw was because it was an absolutely ungrateful act from an absolutely ungrateful person. So you take the constant breathing noises that we had in the TeamSpeak from her. You take the constant conflict in the background of her microphone where she would just, "Get the fuck out of my room!" And then she would just yell straight out in the fucking microphone. And then there was like the 3 months.
And to clarify something that I know if Turbo's listening, he will definitely want to point out. This is a 45-year-old person.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Older than me.
Yeah, this
Older than all
Older
of us.
than older than all of us.
Yeah, they were the oldest person.
And she was really only around as long as Jason and her were ever going out, and he only kept her around because he thought she was friends with us, and he didn't want to cause conflict in the group by breaking up with her.
Oh,
And we didn't want to get rid of her because we thought he was like still with her.
And he'd get all fussy because we don't want your girlfriend around because she's a black hole of charisma.
So it was actually an impasse where everybody thought we assumed there was assumptions of each side.
Also,
I think I might have been the only person who did not have that impression, because I would get daily messages from Jason, be like, "What the fuck would you do now?" I'm like, "Here's what I said." He's like, "Oh, all right." She was bitching at me again. I was like, "Oh, okay."
He wouldn't do anything. Then he wouldn't do anything about it. He wouldn't do anything about it. He would just let that fucking fat thing fester in the fucking.
But he
Goddamn.
always, the reason everything's one is we let something fester. Just remembering, just earlier back, just wanted to mention one thing about earlier when we were trying to save MZS. He asked me to help run meetings. So
And she did.
I
With her
had
very-
I have
very
that
tiny
skill
energy.
background, so I did sit down. I ran the meetings. I made sure there were notes, and took. I was a bit healthier back then, but not by much.
And he would sleep
And
during the
then
meetings.
at one point, he was upset that I was stealing control of his meetings. He
That he was
asked me to
sleeping.
run them.
That he slept.
Yeah,
through,
that's
I might
that's
add. He
a,
slept
a
through.
big component of. Well, I mean, hell, even which we'll get more into this later, but like when things went from back issues to graded 0.5, like people may not know this, but pretty much all like 90% of all the graphics that are attributed to the website now are things that I made. Because despite the fact that I worked a full-time job, Jason asked me to take care of a lot of that stuff for him, so he didn't have to because he didn't have the skill set. And I would do that stuff. And one of the things for all the time I've known Jason, which was probably about 3 years, this motherfucker.
Sorry. Something in chat. Something in chat.
No, you're fine.
You want me to say it?
This.
If you mind, 2012 Jameson says, to Piper, why the heck did you guys have Renfamous on your payroll? Damn.
Oh, Jesus. Oof. But anyway, like Jason is just very much one of those people where he would want help to get stuff done, but the people who would start getting the stuff done, he would accuse of trying to steal shit from him.
So he would. Okay, so there's a reason for that. It's because he was bipolar. In a depressive period, he would need help, but in a manic period, he would completely misremember why he asked for that help, and he would constantly believe to himself that he didn't actually need that help. It was being stolen from him. This control was being stolen from him, and therefore, whoever he asked for help is in the wrong.
Right.
And there was this fucking roller coaster, a fucking manic depressive that I almost had down to an art, right up until like a year ago. But
Yep. Because I think it was because he went through a long period of manic. And
Yeah.
that kind of threw you off. You were like, maybe he's getting better.
and then nope.
And then
Straight
it,
into
I mean,
depressive.
and this time when it fell, it fucking
Yeah.
fell.
So, do we want to go into that story? Because I feel like I've got a lot of context I could probably bring to why this.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me preface one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The transition from back issues to graded 0.5 happened. First of all, that was Daryl, aka Dr. Science Wizard's idea, was graded 0.5, which
Yeah,
it's a great
it's a
idea.
good idea.
Great idea. Because
And like, I do just want to say it was a good idea to change because just go Google search Back Issues podcast. Not
then
one of them will be the podcast that they ran.
You'll find like a dozen podcasts revolving around chiropractics, and not a single thing about comics.
Well, no, there's comics podcasts on the first page, and then the second page has the back doctors and
like
shit.
literal back issues. But yeah, so the transitioning period, because it was basically Jason approached me and says, "Hey, I got rid of Jamie. You want to come on the show, Kay?"
And he did.
Do you know what was
That was
holding me
actually
back?
a really good thing.
Yeah, you want to know what was holding me back from coming on that show? Well, you got rid of the issue that was holding me back from coming on that show. Because
Yeah, and
I have a high tolerance. Very, very, very high tolerance.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Piper, at your worst, still nowhere near as bad as Jamie was.
I would hope
is-
so.
Yours is playful, right? When
Yeah,
we-
you're like a
yours-
playful mother.
yours is playful stuff. I don't mind that.
I was
Like the-
I was making a joke, but okay.
When,
No, like
when the situation
Go ahead.
with the Jamie and the Jason happened, where it's finally Jason finally came out and said, "Okay, I'm done," where he finally realized his friends were like, "Yeah, we agree with you. Get rid of them," right? He did, and then they proceeded to blame everything. Now, just a few days before, they were all like, Super Nerdland are great people. They're awesome. They listen to what I say and blah, 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 blah. As soon as we said, no, we're tired of you, get the fuck out, or they said, because I wasn't directly involved,
no.
goes on Twitter and goes on like, what, a 2-hour rant?
Holy
Yeah.
fuck!
About-
I sent like
about like
Oh yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
we're horrible people.
horrible
And she
people.
talked about us behind people's back or behind our backs to people.
Yeah, and
To
so
be fair, our rogues gallery is kind of lame.
and
We have
so
the worst Luke's gallery.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
It's like Oliver Campbell and Ralph Retort and Jamie.
and
Damn Maplethorpe.
it came to a point
Oh, blue, blue, blue.
when I was seeing it, and I knew the guys were getting pissed off about it because they were in TeamSpeak. They got Super Nerdland has a TeamSpeak, and I jumped in. Mike and Doc will be my witness. I said, "Clear the battlefield." I'm going in. I don't ever do this. I hardly ever go in that hard on anybody. I went on and I said, "You are the most ungrateful bitch that I have ever met in my entire fucking life." I said, "These
Damn.
people spent the entire almost 2 years treating you like a human fucking being just because you needed it, that you needed somebody to lean on, and then you want to act like a bitch to them because they can't handle your bullshit anymore." I tapped into that mulatto fury.
Oh yeah.
She also, like, what really made me kind of spit on the ashes of ever thinking she might have redeeming qualities was when she took the gifts that people had gotten her to try to distract her from the shit life that she has.
Mhm.
She turned that around to be emotional manipulation of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That we were trying to bribe her to.
I remember that.
And that was just so very gross.
What the hell?
Yes.
Knowing that the
Oh.
spirit that some of these games were given was, wow, your life sucks. Maybe if playing a game with us helps you in your life have even 5 minutes of not
Respite.
shit,
Yeah,
then cool.
Yeah, some escapism. Here you
Yeah.
go.
And
Yeah,
so
because
remember-
that's what we're all about.
Like, legitimately, she said that, fuck, now I'm getting my thoughts all jumbled because of this bullshit.
Well,
So
let's put it this way,
anyway,
okay.
she was
well-
given gifts, right? And she tried to flip that around, saying that it was emotional abuse because her father would do awful shit to her and then give her gifts as sort of like,
Well, I think
Mine
none of us can help
too?
the
So what?
association, the association that she would take from that. That's fine if she wants to associate that with that, but that's not what it was,
Oh, but
Mhm.
here's the thing. Here's the thing that I didn't actually tell y'all that happened. After all of that blow up, she bought me a game somehow. I refused to accept the gift.
Good job.
And she told me, this was over Steam chat, so of course I don't have any logs,
Mhm.
but she said that she was trying to make it up to me so that she could get back in with everybody.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, she was having those rants on Twitter.
Now,
I think I remember you talking to me about that, Gwen, back when it was happening.
and also, if I
Yeah,
remember, Jordan, you
you-
also purchased her a.
Yeah, back in 2016 when I was being dumb. Well, not really being dumb because you guys had just come into my life, so I was like, hey, Overwatch is a game. I'm gonna buy everybody I know who wants to play that game a copy of. I think ended up buying like 6 or 7 copies.
Mhm.
me.
Yeah, Mike, I got one. I know Jason and Jamie, I both bought a copy.
I was playing Nyx at the time, so
Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of people who I was buying games for, and I remember a lot of issues with Jamie cropped up because of that game. Because
bitching about the hitboxes, bitching about this, bitching about that. Like, this was before bitching about Overwatch, like, team comps became a meme and shit like that.
right. Well, and the thing is, like, any of y'all who have played games with me, you fucking you know what happens. You know the spiciness never goes away.
Mhm.
No. it
I
never
love
It's
playing
like-
games with you.
So every time Jamie would start complaining, I just go in on her. Not super hard, but the same way I do with everybody. And the amount, I think there were a couple times I caused her to rage quit, like in the middle of a match. She just fucking left. I was like, oh well.
Like, on the same
and
team.
suddenly
Like, we're
it's
not
fun.
fighting against
Yeah, we're on the
they're
same team.
Yeah.
And I just be like poking at her.
You know what? I'm kind of proud to say that I'm the reason why she broke TV.
This person decided to
Yeah.
got mad about something. Okay, just to give you the TLDR on this, I guess Mike
Okay,
did something
so-
to make her mad.
All right,
Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay, I remember.
Mhm.
I was playing. We were playing BlazBlue Central Fiction, I think, or it was one of them. There's like so many of them. But I was playing
You talking about that
BlazBlue with
Spider-Man
the
guy?
group because we were fighting,
Mhm.
and we would because all of us were fighting game enthusiasts for the most part, and even including Jamie somehow, and it was one match in which I was playing Lychee and she was playing that one bitch that does auto combos.
Taukaka.
Oh yeah, the gun shooty bitch.
Yeah, the gun.
Oh,
shooting
the
bitch.
chick that I like to use.
Noelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Noelle.
Noelle.
Noelle Verlaine. Okay.
Noelle Vermillion. She was playing Noelle Vermillion, and she was getting into the auto combo shit. And that was practically the only character that she would play because Noelle is very easily, and she wins very easily. But I was playing Lychee, and nobody fucking fucks with my Lychee. And she was pissing me off one night because I was getting sick and tired of her watching just auto combo. So I was playing Lychee, and like 2 rounds later, I got two straight perfects, and I hear this crack on the fucking like TV screen. It turns out I perfected her so bad, she threw her fucking controller at her TV and broke it.
That's not even
Oof.
the best part. After she broke her TV and her controller too, if I remember correctly,
Yes.
she made her mother buy her a new TV and controller.
Wow.
I remember that.
By basically just grinding her down and bitching at her so much. Give me a new TV, mom.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 months.
An over 40-year-old woman.
Over 60-year-old woman.
No,
She was pestering an over 60-year-old woman for this.
Well, no, we're talking about Jamie herself. a over 40-year-old acting like this.
Wow.
Mom, I need a new TV.
The funny thing is, during the time, when the blow up happened, and she was, she was wilding out. I said, okay. I said, she wants to play this game. I'll play this game. Like I said, I blew up at her, and she tried the whatever, and I was like, no, you don't whatever me, right? I said, okay, fine. I'll deal with this. Go on Discord. Hey, Rena, can I talk to you for a minute? And the reason
Rena's
I went
really
to Rena,
important, too.
Rena's a friend.
Oh yeah.
She used to go by Socks on Twitter and stuff like that. But Rena is a really good friend of mine. We used to do a show together, a live show once a week called Dead Gamers Talking. And Jamie was a huge fan of us, especially Rena. Right? Especially Rena. And Rena would humor her. She would sometimes come, have her on the, because Rena also did this little radio show for Aerith Radio. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
They still go.
I do. They still do stuff.
Yeah, Aerith is still going too.
Rena used to do a show on there, and I would sometimes come on, and sometimes she would let Jamie come on because, Jamie was a loyal listener, right? And so I told Rena what was going on, and she said, okay, give me a minute. Now, have you ever seen a Australian woman get pissed off about something?
Isn't that their default state?
Yeah, there's that, and then it's like further beyond.
Take it to 11.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're saying Rena achieved Ultra Instinct?
Pretty much, because by the time Rena was done with Jamie, she said, Rena saying, you need to go to school, and you need to get a degree, and you need to get a fucking job.
God damn.
And she said,
Ouch.
and because Rena was saying it, not us, because Rena was saying it, Jamie went, you're right.
Yeah. Now, I did have a question for y'all. Do you remember when Jamie blamed me for literally all of her fucking problems?
Yes.
See, there's a reason for that. She was not comfortable where she wasn't fighting somebody because the way she lives is that she lives with her like 60-plus-year-old mother and her meth drug addicted brother who thinks that she's a pedophile. So there would constantly be fights in the background of her house while she was on TeamSpeak. So she would yell back at them, she would fight with them, and I'm pretty certain that she got used to that atmosphere of constantly being fights, that when her brother finally got put in jail again for months, she started baiting everyone else in order to try and get them to hating her. Because she did it with Dick. She did it with you. I don't know if she tried it with me. I know she wouldn't fucking try it with me because I wouldn't stand for it. I don't think she did it to Gwen because she was trying to be a good friend, ally, or whatever.
Blanket.
Lincoln. I don't think she did it to Bray because
Yeah,
Bray just.
we had that one talk where she was saying that she was uncomfortable with words like, the N word and the bundle of sticks word, and it was turning her actually racist and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not
Oh my
our
God.
problem. Everything is meant as jokes. If you're racist, then you're racist.
And she convinced Jason for a bit that we were turning him racist too.
I was just about to mention that. Because I fucking remember Jason mentioned that to me in not Skype, but Steam. Where he's like, oh, I can't hang out in TeamSpeak anymore. I was like, well, what's going on? I was like, well, they say the N-word all the time, and it's turning me into a race. And I was like, Nick, you say this shit to me every fucking day. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to me about the exact same things, and he needs to stop being around Mulatto and other people by name, not just the TS.
Let's see. 22 James
I told him
said
he
in chat,
wasn't
to
turning
Piper,
racist.
To Piper, no wonder he's always picking on you. Mulatto Fury was trained by Renfamous. Look, I'm gonna stop.
I forged my skills.
I'm gonna stop story time to dunk on Renfamous. That's just
Yeah.
I mean, you have to.
Oh yeah, and Caleb in the chat, who's another good friend who was around all this at the time, says Jason told me I was indirectly making him question his political ideology, and I was like, what? Because
I remember Jason telling me about that because Jason.
Context. Caleb lives in Venezuela. Caleb lives under a socialist dictatorship. Caleb is trying as hard as he can to get the hell out of that country.
To get to America land.
Yeah, to come to America land. So to say that Caleb is against socialism is a dramatic understatement. and
that was
Jason
was pretty big into that socialism shit.
Yeah. So
He called himself a hippie Buddhist, but he was like the complete opposite of those things.
yeah.
It's
He was
more like a
more of a
wishful
socialist.
thinking.
So
He was
but-
more of a socialist than many of the socialists I knew.
Mhm.
so Jordan,
Yeah.
continue with your take on that because I know he.
Well,
talked to you
one
a
of
lot
the
during that period.
one of the big things about Jason, especially when it came to politics, and this is a conversation that me and him had a number of times, and this is going to get into one of the fun stories. Jason does not understand how to approach people with a different political ideology than him. It's not too far flung to say that most of the people who are talking right now are more right-leaning, or let's say center-right, than being center-left or left-leaning. There's a couple of lefties in here, but
I'm actually center left.
Yeah, I
like
mean, there's-
center left, Gwen's left. I'm surprisingly more left than some of you all may think on certain issues, but I'm just so far conservative on other issues that people just usually call me conservative.
well,
Same here.
and I mean
Same here.
that's what I mean, Josh. Like me, I'm not technically on the right, but I'm what's known as a libertarian capitalist, which people are just like, oh, you're just a conservative. But
Like, if
Jason's-
that helps you sleep at night, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Call me whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Jason is one of those people who considerably left, especially when it comes to things like financial situations. And I remember during the 2016 election, we had a Twitter group where we would talk about politics, mostly memeing on the fact that, Donald Trump, Lamau, Donald Trump's going to be the next fucking president. Can you believe it, guys? And I remember during those conversations, Jason brought up something about how much he fucking hated Trump. And we just asked him, we're like, well, but why though? Like, what has he done? Because he had the same mentality as a lot of people who hated Trump at that time and still do. Just, he's Hitler. And I remember he said something about like, if we were complaining about Hillary Clinton, none of you people would have a problem. I said, none of us would have a problem with complaining about Hillary Clinton because she's actually a fucking war criminal. You absolute fucking mongoloid. And then he fucking left the group after I said that. And so I followed him into his. I was like, nigga, did you really just run because I called you stupid because I made a fucking joke? He's like, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit ass. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. You're gonna get mad about that, but that's how he is about everything. He can't handle people with a different point of view. In fact, there was one point where he told me that literally everybody except for me made him feel like he could not talk about his politics, including Josh, which anybody who's talked politics about Josh knows this motherfucker is one of the most chill people to talk politics with.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's ever been.
If you want a very
As long as you don't want to actually kill people, I'm usually pretty cool with you.
Yeah, if you want a nuanced opinion on politics, Josh is like a good guy to talk to because.
Oh, he's probably one of the best people to talk to.
Yeah,
honestly,
because he will give you that very.
Well, I appreciate that.
Very nuanced, very researched, and he'll be researching while he's talking to you about it. That's the one of the good things about it. But anyway, secondary. Let's see.
No, Jason in politics was even interesting when he talked to me, and I probably agreed with him on far more things than most of you. But I remember I'm pretty non-confrontational unless I feel that it's worth spending my spoons on a confrontation. So he liked talking about stuff to me that, especially like politics or whatever, and he'd say, "Oh, it's so nice talking to you because everyone else is being a jerk to me," and I'm like, yeah, I guess, sure." And most of the time, I just figure out what I agreed with him on, and I turn the conversation to just that point. Like I do with everybody, I figure out where can I agree with them, and then I try to just focus on that and forget the rest of it. Because that's what I was trained, and so he thought he could just talk to me about politics all the time. But the one time when I couldn't figure that out, he got a little bit upset. Not as upset as he got at you, of course, but I'm just a wet blanket. I'm not someone that really causes much emotion usually.
Right.
So where we're at in the time frame here, where this is still about the graded point, or back issues is dying, and graded 0.5 isn't the thing yet, or is this when graded 0.5 started and it was still?
We had gotten to the point where
podcast?
it transferred to graded 0.5, I think.
Okay.
Because Wayne had mentioned that earlier.
Wasn't it graded 0.5 before all the political stuff started happening in earnest?
It was kind of during.
Yeah,
because that was like 2016. It was during. Yeah.
Before we continue, I just got to point out, I forgot Daryl as well as one of the founders of Super Nerdland.
Yes, Daryl's a founder.
Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Founder of Super Nerdland, founder of fucking Graded 0.5.
Yeah.
Kind of there during the meltdown during MZS. All these people, I'm slowly kind of remembering.
Got a comics label stolen from him.
Well,
yes.
Remember when there was actually. He was working to help Daryl and Rotten Rye with this 4-hour podcast they did every week. And he actually pulled me on it often to talk about comics and horror on that really long podcast.
Yeah, it was 8 hours long.
Yeah, it was 8 hours long, and he would pull me on it specifically for the comic segment and for the horror segment of that long podcast. He used to pull me on to talking about comic stuff before back issues happened, and then he pulled me on once, and after Jamie had tanked my Yuri podcast, and I told Jason I'm not going to do any comic shows with you anymore as much as I would like to. And when Jamie was gone, I mentioned to him I would like to come on and talk about XX and X, and he's all, no, I'm still kind of upset at you, and wouldn't tell me why. He just said he was upset, and I don't usually try to dig at people too often, because I'm just not well enough. And I said, okay, Jason's just being Jason, and forgot about it, because I remember I was going through extra stuff at that time, so I had forgotten a whole, and it wasn't until you mentioned that I even remembered I used to do comics with him on Rye's podcast.
Yeah, I forgot about Rye too. Shit, I'm sorry, Rye.
Yeah, Rye was there.
Filthy juggalo.
Oh yeah.
The Rotten Rye podcast was an 8-hour fucking long Gamergate stream, and before that it was an 8-hour long fucking video game stream. But it was 8 fucking hours. Rye, you goddamn fucking insane juggalo. I know
long enough that it would have to they'd have to start a new stream because YouTube streaming limits at the time wouldn't allow them to go a certain amount. So
it was 2 hours before you had to restart, and he did that 3 times.
Oof.
I remember that shit starting at like 12 o'clock Central and then going on to like fucking midnight.
Mhm.
Yep.
But then again, it turned into a fucking hangout stream, and it was from there we did like neat shit like what was that one hashtag we made up?
Solution 6.
Well,
Solution.
somebody else made
We got a worldwide trending hashtag, and we made people thought that like the Gamergate opt to end all Gamergate ops was about to happen, and it was literally nothing.
It was
So
literally
you're
fucking
trying to
nothing.
tell me that you committed a gay op?
No,
Yes,
it
we
was-
committed the gay op of gay ops.
it was
Without
really-
even
Yeah.
needing to. We were just like, ha ha ha, Solution 6, and then a couple people were like, hey, tweet about this, and then a couple people tweeted about it, and they told a couple people, and then people just started jumping on, just like, oh, this seems funny,
people
what's
were
this?
making up shit about what Solution 6 actually was. You know, it was
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't in on the joke, so I had tweeted
Ro-
that tag asking, "What the hell is Solution 6?" and then getting like 8,000 different answers.
Fucking Roguestar. You remember Roguestar tried to like
Oh.
kick that shit over, and Roguestar was trying to go like, no, Solution 6 was started by me because I was gonna do this.
I have to interrupt everybody. Somebody has come in to say the N word.
Is it Race Realist Thanos?
It's your boy.
Jesus fucking Christ. So, okay.
So
I
before
do-
we get any more jumbled, we're going back to back issues. Back issues imploding. Dr. Science Wizard suggests we go to Greater Point 5, and it's at that point that Jason's like, "Okay, we'll do this." So he burns back issues as well, and it's at that point they start doing more podcasts, a lot more pre-recorded stuff. Not like we're doing right now. More pre-recorded, and they would talk about stuff. Now, again, because I really didn't participate with Jason in this endeavor, I'm going to have to pass it off to Wayne, because
Okay.
where Wayne came in.
Yeah, but I want to point out because somebody just said, "What is the charge for a cab ride till this is funny again?" Okay, you want funny? I'll give you funny. Cab. You remember your first interaction with Jason?
Yeah, it was the old Skype group.
Yeah, you remember what happened in that interaction with Jason?
Yeah, I inadvertently bullied him, my man.
Got a hardcore bully, didn't he?
It was it was just a regular conversation. You know, they were just talking. I don't even know what y'all were talking about. Honestly, it was like
I
I
think
don't
it was. I think it had something to do with the fact that Cab was a jock when he was in high school.
that was like came up
And-
in the conversation, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Panelists said
Yeah, because I wasn't there. I heard about this secondhand from I think from you guys.
So I was watching it, and I'm like, when it happened,
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell just happened? I laughed because it was kind of funny, but so they were having a conversation. I don't even know what about, and then they were talking about this, and then you know, Jason was talking about like, I'm kind of a, you know, like he was, I'm a hippie, or you know, he said something like, oh, you know, I got bipolar and I got some issues, and Cab's like, you know, I think what came up first was Cab was talking about he used to like play ball in school and stuff like that, right? And then Jason goes, yeah, well, you know, I never did that, you know, I was like this and that, and because I think Jason said, yeah, I kind of see that, you kind of seem like the type who used to be a jock, right?
Hmm.
And then after Jason explained himself, and Cab said, yeah, kind of the give back, you know, he's like, he said that, so I'm going to give it back. He said, yeah, I can kind of see, you know, that in you, you know, that you're that type of person. And then he says, then Jason just like this all of a sudden, you think you fucking know me?
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
And Cab's like, what?
Yeah, I'm just bewildered.
Yeah. He's like, what's going on?
I don't know what that was on.
Like literally. And then so he kept going like that, and Cab's like, I don't know, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, you're just like every fucking jock I ever knew. You shit on people and blah blah blah. And Cab's like, what?
Yeah, I had literally no idea what the hell's going on.
And so he leaves the Skype group, and then fucking 2 minutes later, I can't stand that fucker Cab. I'm like, what'd he do? He's a fucking bully. I'm like, huh?
So Wayne,
Damn.
should I take this opportunity to regale our audience about when Jason came to me crying about how he was going to fire Piper from the podcast?
Yes.
You didn't even get to me being on the podcast.
Okay, well,
fast
okay.
forward,
Well,
to give a little fast forward here. Okay, so we started the new podcast, right? Well, yeah, it was a new podcast. We had some people who rotated in, but basically the core was like Jason, me, Dick. I think Jordan, you would come in when you could.
yeah, basically because of the way you guys were recording, sometimes I had to work, but when I wasn't working, I was usually on episodes.
Yeah, and as Caleb points out, and now Cab is the one that gets bullied.
Yeah, full circle.
And that was like Jason was saying. Now, Piper, this is not meant to offend in any way, shape, or form, but he said like, and I want to let you know, Wayne, I'm bringing in somebody else. I was like, who's that? He went, Piper. I'm like, great. Who?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, at that point, I had been with Geeks. Well, now it's Geeks Worldwide. I had been with them, and then I went to Popcorn Podcast. So y'all, I just knew basically from shit posting and Super Nerdland and following each other.
On my timeline, right? Like,
Yeah, basically, I ended up following a bunch of y'all because of Gamergate and.
Just before anybody says Myers Streeter would take way too long to explain, so we'll just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. That has
That would have to be
Yeah.
its own fucking stream. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so is it time for the Piper story?
Well, see, Piper came on.
Yeah, I actually don't know the Piper
I'm
story.
gonna lead you to it, and then I'm gonna hand it off to you. Right? Okay.
Okay.
Piper came on, and I thought we had a good rapport. It was mostly like Piper kept quiet a lot. She isn't like now when she gets more. She's very verbal. We bullied her into being more verbal. In all honesty.
Well, there was a lot more people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some of y'all I didn't know yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It was like
And
you would come in, and
in
like,
fact,
you would
at that
hear
point, Jason was one of the ones I knew the most at that point, almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you would come in, and I would hear you giggle sometimes, and then you would, say, a couple of things, and then it's like, then we would talk about.
I
wrestling
gave
for
my
no-
opinion when asked.
and then we would talk about wrestling for no reason, and then that was like,
As you do.
Yeah, if you ever some of those the old graded .5 podcasts, you listen to those, like every freaking one somehow descended into I somehow could always relate it to something that happened in wrestling.
Because you're a
some-
fucking dork.
Yeah, this is true.
Got him, Jesus.
Yeah.
What is wrestling?
Right for the
Real-life
fucking
performance
neck.
Bullshit.
I'm a hardcore bully, you sons of bitches.
I'll say-
Listen.
But,
I can tell.
But I want to point out
I'm
that Caleb
sorry.
said in
I
chat
posted
that-
the color blue at someone, and they spurred out on Twitter. I think I'm a higher level bully.
That's true.
She had a good point. She does have a good point.
Oh my god.
And Caleb wanted to point out in the chat that says, and now Cab is the one that gets bullied. Full circle.
Yeah. Cab's the one who gets hardcore bullied all the time.
Oh man.
Here's the trick. You can't bully the unbullyable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't.
don't know.
It doesn't work.
You seem like you get bullied pretty hardcore, my guy.
But is it truly bullying?
I mean, not if you like it, and I'm pretty sure you do.
It's not even
And there you
like
go.
it. It's that it just washes over me.
No,
It's
well,
like
we're
the
all-
Hulk. When you're always getting bullied, you're in control.
I've gone with this with Ace. It's like the shit posting Zen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There's like you hit an equilibrium where just nothing happens and matters. That's what it is.
so like I said,
Sounds about right.
I do want to say one thing,
all right.
and this is very important,
Mhm.
because a lot of this is naturally shitting on Jason, but he did have a knack for finding great people and pulling them together.
Yes, and when he was in his good periods, he was a good friend, and he would. And I hate talking about him in the past tense, but like a little bit over a year ago, he blew up over me kind of half bullying him.
Oh shit! I remember that.
Yeah.
Fucking over KDM. Jesus.
I was getting up a game of Kingdom Death Monsters with our boy Zach over here. I mean Cab, Blotto, and
Mhm.
myself and Jason. And I asked him like 3 days before I'd set it up in Tabletop Simulator to. Oh yeah, we're pirating that game anyway. To see if he'd like to play in it, and he'd like say yeah okay. And then we get to fucking day of, and he says, "No, I can't. I figured it was just general malaise that he had." And,
Well, what had happened was, so you had asked him some days prior if he wanted to do it. He was like, okay, just remind me. And yeah, I'll get it set up depending on what time it is. So when we were going to go, it was like 10 p.m., which is when his roommate Karen was normally getting home from work.
Yeah.
So that was part of the issue. And then, as we do in this group of people, you razz him a little bit because he was like, well, if you should remind me. Like, nigga, I told you 3 days ago.
and he took that once.
And he took that once, and even that first time, it kind of pissed him off a little bit because he immediately sends me a message on Steam saying, "Well, now Mike hates me." I said, "I don't think Mike hates you. I think he's just razzing you. He's disappointed because he wanted to play a game with you."
He's been your friend for 14 years. Come on now.
Right? It's like, I don't think he's mad at you, and I flat out said, I said, if Mike is actually pissed off at you over the situation, he can fucking get over it because it's not that big a deal. But I didn't think Mike was mad.
It wasn't. I was
And
just kinda
so-
like, oh well, fuck. He's Jasoning out. Whatever. Fuck.
Mike is
Well,
kinda
yeah,
like-
One of those days.
I was gonna say Mike is kind of like me. If he has a problem like that with somebody, he just won't talk to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and because I think part of what irritated Jason as well was you asked Jason first, he said no, and then you asked me, and I was like, well, shit, yeah, I'll fucking play some video games. I don't fucking care. Ain't no big deal. And then I think we were just about to start, and Jason said, "Oh man, if you would have just told me a little bit earlier, I could have played with you guys. It seems like fun." And you made the joke again. Well, nigga, I told you like 3 days ago, and then like that motherfucker just leaves.
Mhm.
Just disconnects off TeamSpeak. And so, of course, me being his fucking babysitter, apparently, I was, he decided to cry at me about it. I was like, you realize Mike's not mad at you, right? He's like, well, I'm fucking mad at him. I'm like, but why? because he fucking said that same shit to me fucking twice. I'm like, you mean he does the thing that we do to fucking everybody in our fucking friend group? What are you, a fucking child? Fucking.
To put that
Even I
into
get
perspective,
Mm-hmm.
that was the last time I spoke to him.
Yes,
That was a year ago.
that was the last time that Mike and Jason had a conversation, and
14-year
After
friendship. 14-year friendship.
Dang.
And this is when everything else started kind of imploding, and
There were
he was talking to me some. He was going to do exactly what he did to MZS, and he was going to do exactly what he did with back issues, because you also can't find back issues because he wanted that yeeted from the internet. Good.
right.
He wanted back issues, or graded 0.5, sorry. He wanted graded 0.5, yeeted for good, until I reminded him that it wasn't just him and his effort and his creative input and everything that went into it. I made the website. I like using it as a portfolio because I did kind of neat stuff with the website. Other people were on the podcast. Other people, Jordan, you had written things.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting ready to
And-
start a podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were.
Operation Retcon. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. I remember you. We were throwing around ideas, and we had combined like 2 or 3 different names that eventually got to Operation Retcon.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Um,
fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do
Well-
that again sometime. But
Yeah, I remember when we used to do those for like the Friday streams, where that'd just be like, hey, let's retcon an idea. That would be nice to get back into.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to mention, so I mentioned it before, but there was a period of time where I just fucking yeeted myself for a year.
Yep.
There was just a lot of shit that I had to deal with, especially dealing with like mental illness. I later found out that
I know it's coming up.
Yep. I later found out I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, which caused a lot of the interpersonal issues I had with a lot of people. But before I was even diagnosed, I realized I was being a shitty friend to a lot of people who I care about. So I did myself, and I was like, well, I'm gonna fuck off until I'm the person I want to be to the people who I care about.
Well, you weren't a shitty friend to me. You always played games with me when I was really sad.
She always misses you. Gwen always misses you.
I missed you so much when you were gone because you were one of the few people that when I said, I'm sad, is anyone free to play a game? You'd be, yeah, I'm free to play a game right now, and you play a game with me.
Well, I mean, that's what you do. You gotta take care of your friends when they're feeling low. I know feeling low and then feeling like you have nobody. I don't ever want anybody to feel bad about that.
No.
But
like one of the conversations Jason and I would have was that he was jealous of me because he felt he was burdened by Graded Point 5 as an entity. Like he had to be the one to take care of it. And I kept telling him, and
that was your volunteer moment. You were like, "What do you want me to do?"
Well, yeah, I was
literally,
like, dude,
what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because even before that, he was like, "Well, I want to rebrand the site," because that was one of the things that Josh had mentioned. Because I popped up out of the blue, as I do, and like a week before that was when Josh and Jason were having the conversation about Jason wanted to yeet Graded Point 5.
Ooh.
And then after I came back, Jason was like, "Hey, let's rebrand everything. It's a fresh start," and that's when I made a lot of the graphics and stuff. And then Jason started Jasoning. Me and him were having a lot of conversations. He was mentioning that I seemed like an entirely different person after I came back from being gone for a year.
And you were like, "That was the point."
Yeah, that was kind of the point. Well, because that was a thing that
And he was in good ways.
Yeah.
like pretty much everybody I talked to. I remember Daryl was one of the
Piper. We're getting to that. That's not
What's
got to yet. She's talking about the getting fired part. This is leading.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that.
This is that time. This is around all that
that's
time.
around that time.
Yeah.
This is the time. This is the place when we look to our future, and there's not much love going around. You can see the confusion.
But one of the things, since he mentioned that so often, I told him, "Well, dude, if you need to go, just go. Like you could. I'm sure there's people who you can trust." And I didn't mean myself. No, like I honestly, I was thinking Josh, except for the fact that Josh already runs a website. So I was like, there's got to be somebody who you trust, who you could give the site to. Because if you got to take that time away, just do it. Like that's what I did. Even though it wasn't an easy decision to make, I just had to do it.
Yeah, his was a lot of hedging. He said he was going to do it, and then it's like not going to do it, and then he's going to do it, and then he's not going to do it. And
yeah,
then
exactly.
he finally decided. I think he came to the decision. Like I said, I'm trying to condense it a little bit, not to
Yeah.
That he came to the decision to basically back to what we were talking about, delegating. And delegating to Jason is you're taking over at some point because you're doing too much.
Even though you will run everything by him.
Yeah. Hey Jason, you want to do this? Sure. Hey Jason, you want to do that? Sure. Kind of thing.
I mean, hell, I remember when anytime I had an idea for an article before I actually started writing it, I was like, "Hey, is it okay if I write this? Is this something that goes with the vision of the site?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, at a certain point, he's like, "Dude, do whatever you want. I'm sure whatever you write is going to be good. You do good shit." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
So there came a day, like no other day.
A day that'll live in infamy.
There I was.
There was a certain female in this chat who made a statement on Twitter.
Jesus.
About which amendment was it?
I believe. Which one was it?
Piper here is.
Fourth?
She wrote about repealing the 13th Amendment because she's a massive racist. First, I was like, wait, Piper, you can't repeal amendments. Secondly,
now wait a minute, Piper. No,
wait a minute. That is not what happened.
No, it's not what happened.
It was quoting an amendment, but you did misquote that amendment. It was the wrong amendment.
Yes.
No, what it was the way the amendment was worded. I didn't think the amendment applied to non-citizens because it said
that's right.
American citizens. So I didn't think it applied to non-citizens.
For some reason, the comic book podcast people were talking about immigration.
As you do.
Yeah.
I was actually responding to somebody else.
Yeah.
I can't remember who, but
had nothing to do with Jason, who was running the Graded Point 5 Twitter account at the time.
So what I was doing was I had replied to somebody else, and I said, but that says it's for American citizens, so they're not citizens. It doesn't apply to them.
Due process.
I'm
that's what
assuming.
It was talking about due process.
Yeah, it was something about court something. American citizens have a right. Yeah,
Courts,
probably.
like the laws, basically the laws apply to citizens equally as much as they do non-citizens, and you were misreading that a little bit.
No, what I was reading just flat out said American citizens.
Oh, okay.
He came in to clarify with a different amendment that if you're on U.S. soil, it counts.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah, so he
And-
came in and quoted a different amendment and linked me to it.
Yes. And so
Also-
Piper, being who Piper is, did not take that conversation very seriously and decided to fuck with Jason a little bit.
It was.
Yeah, I managed to miss so much drama going on in the background because I just didn't hang out in the team speak and
You
stuff
really
like that.
did.
Yeah.
You really did.
So I would hear about it later. Like y'all would be like, I would pop in for a podcast or something, or something, and y'all would be
it was
like,
literally the lowest quality.
"Guess what Jason did?"
It was
Yeah.
literally-
Like,
Oh,
guess
you guys are telling stories about Jason?
yeah.
Yes.
The whole everything.
This is the
telling-
deepest
Fell all
lore
expose.
stream.
Yeah, we're talking.
Deep
the
I've
lowest-
been
I've been wanting to do this shit for like a fucking month.
Yeah, we're
So
not telling-
I didn't know that like you couldn't joke with him because he
Depending
had
on the
approached
mood, you
me,
could.
so I assumed that he had seen
Yeah.
my Twitter feed at some point.
Depending on where he was in his headspace.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, remember-
see, and I didn't know this, so I was just fucking around.
and I want to say, what she said was innocuous to the point.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, haha, you were an idiot or anything like that. It was like, oh, okay, well, I don't care, LOL.
No, I went because I was basically, admitting, okay, I didn't know that. I got, I'm wrong. So I just went, oh, well, shh. Like,
Oh yeah, that's good.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
typed, well, shh.
Yeah, literally just shh.
And it
And
was
so-
just me going, oh, well, you made me look, no, you're going to make me look dumb. That's what it was,
Which you don't need help with that, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up.
And
Got me.
then Jordan got a message
Mm.
that said,
I had no idea he was mad.
I got
no
a message
idea.
from Jason in all caps that read, "I'm about to fucking fire Piper." Now keep in mind now, when I got this message, I'd just fucking gotten up.
Out of a
I'm- I-
super cannon?
I wish.
Right? Hey.
But so I'm sitting there, I'm checking my Twitter, before I got fucking yeeted for the millionth goddamn time. And I get this message from Jason. I'm like, oh, because Jason and I talked every single day. Like I was his confidant essentially. And
I
I
gave
get
up
this,
on that shit years ago.
you lucky bastard. So I'm sitting there, so I read this message, I turn away from my monitor, I look at it again, I go, okay, what'd she do? And so he's like, this shit, links it to me, and I read the conversation. I said, so it's Piper being Piper.
God damn it.
That's literally what I said. I said, so it's Piper being Piper, because I looked at it, I could understand where his frustration would lie, because after he got you with a here's where you're wrong, you're like, shh, like that would have annoyed even me, but I wouldn't be like frothing at the mouth about it.
Well,
And
I
he's-
didn't argue with him either. Like,
Right.
I assumed that it was obvious that me going, shh, meant, oh crap, you're right, be quiet. Like,
This is
And
also
so-
about
Nobody.
the same time. Didn't he go off on fucking Adrian too?
Oh my, yeah, he did. We'll get to that in a sec.
but yeah.
So-
So this was a whole aughts about Piper having getting something wrong, and then when
Oh no,
told she was
it's not
wrong-
even.
No wait, when told she was wrong, she made a joke about it.
Well, the exact wording that he used is that she's a bad actor. She's one of those people. She argues in bad faith about shit that's not even that fucking important.
yeah.
And like that was the reason why he needed to fire her, because he can't deal with people who won't argue with him in good faith.
I don't
and-
want to argue with
On Twitter.com.
On Twitter.com. And
And
this was the point where I had come back, I had found my zen, and I was like, it ain't even that, it ain't even worth because from what I had known of Piper, pretty cool chick, bit spurgy, but who the fuck isn't? And I told him, well, maybe it's best that you don't engage in stuff like that if it's gonna piss you off that much. To which I get a response in all caps, N-word. I did not fucking engage. I said, what do you call responding to her then?
Yeah, because I wasn't tweeting at him. I was tweeting to somebody else.
He literally made
To be entirely fair, though, Piper is kind of a bad actor. Have you seen her performance in Of Mice and Men? You're a terrible lady.
Damn, dog.
Goddamn.
Now,
I gave that shit 2 stars.
now my favorite part.
Bitch got owned.
Now, my favorite part about my response after I told him, what do you call responding to her then? This motherfucker did not talk to me for 2 fucking days.
Nope. This is similar to if I may. This is similar. If anybody remembers, there was this guy who was talking to Ethan Van Sciver one time on Twitter, and he came in, like, Ethan made a tweet, and this guy started talking to Ethan, and Ethan responded to him, right? And then this guy, after a little back and forth, he says, well, you came into my mentions and blah, 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 blah. And I came in, it's like, my dude, you responded to him. You came into his mentions. Don't get it twisted,
Yep,
fam.
same energy. Same energy. Yeah.
Same energy. It's the
So-
same energy. I just wanted to point that out. It's a very, very same. It's like, I did not engage. What do you call responding to?
Yeah.
What's great is I had no idea
had no
that
clue.
he had a problem, and I had gotten, like, he was in my DMs. I probably still have him,
Was being
but he was like, he was trying to continue the argument a little bit, so I had to explain the joke.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, no, I looked at your link and, realized I was wrong, and that's why I was playfully saying shh, because, then everybody would know I was wrong. Like,
I almost
And I
would
was
ask you to go get him, see how deep the berg runs.
I kind of want to look.
The thing is, if he deleted his account, I don't think you have the Twitter
Yeah, you can't get
conversation
it back.
anymore.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And not if you block
Because
her.
I know because I still have Gail's after she blocked me.
That's weird.
Oh shit, that just reminded me of a conversation Jason and I had in DMs.
Oh, boy.
Holy fuck.
But I didn't know why he was apologizing to me, and I didn't know anything was wrong until we went to record or something, and Jason goes, so, did you know you were, like, fired or almost fired or something like that? Like, they had to tell me.
Now, this is me. I'm coming in not knowing anything about this, like, after the fact, and I'm like, huh? Because I had a very, Jason, I will still call him a friend. There's a lot of bad, it seems like bad mouthing on him, but we're just stating a historical fact.
Yeah,
that
he
actually
didn't do anything bad to me, so I don't have anything against him.
I had
The
a-
trying to fire me, I didn't
have
even know
very
about.
mixed feelings because for years he had a problem with me for building Super Nerdland
from the ashes.
because the people that he had gathered didn't want to go to the dust and go to the wind. We decided to stay together, and I helped create Super Nerdland, and he held that against me. Even as he would write things for the website, even as he would get my assistance in getting up podcasts and getting them published and creating all this infrastructure so he could have his projects, and he resented me the whole time.
I'm surprised
And-
you didn't resent me for helping.
For
her.
and I consider him
Whoa,
like a
what the
brother,
hell is my
and that
fucking
hurt me
mentions doing?
as much of as if a brother would have been as two-faced as that. So I have very complicated feelings.
And my
I also
Also-
have complicated feelings.
I was gonna say, Gwen, not to bring you down, but Jason did resent you quite a bit, and the reason why is fucking retarded, and I told him that. So you mentioned earlier how anytime you mentioned you were sad and you asked if somebody would want to play a video game with you, and I would always be like, yeah, sure, I'll play a game with you.
He hated it. He
He
hated that.
fucking hated you for that, and I don't know why.
Wait. That was him?
Yeah, that was Jason.
Because you see, Josh came to me without, but wouldn't tell me who it was that was complaining about me at the time. And he came
yeah.
to me to tell me because they didn't want to come forward with their feelings, and we had this complicated emotional conversation that because I was I was starting. My body had started getting worse. All of my treatments had stopped working, and they're still not working. And I had been getting really sad, and I had very little energy. And I wanted to do something to cheer me up with that very little energy that I had, and I'd rather spend it playing a game with my friends because that's easier. As far as social interactions, I explained this to Josh that for me, when I'm at my lowest functioning because of pain and everything, I can only sort of. It's hard for me to really go through all the social rules, but the social rules for playing a co-op game, it's easy for me to handle when I'm low brain. Like when you're doing a normal conversation like we're having now, this is really complex
I'm
and
not
hard
laughing
if I'm not feeling well.
When I was giggling, Gwen, I'm just letting you know I'm not laughing at you. I was laughing at Xavier driving.
No, I knew you weren't laughing at me. But,
Dude's gonna end up into a fucking pole. Watch
but
it.
yeah, so that was all. He made me go through even more emotional pain through Josh. He is the one that caused that. Made Josh contact me.
Yeah.
Because I cried. Indigo's not home right now, but I cried. She knew I cried over that whole conversation with Josh. Because I didn't understand what I had done wrong, and me and Josh talked a long time to just try to figure it out. Because I don't even think he really understood. He was just trying to mediate.
Josh always trying to he was a good, trying to mediate things and trying to get everybody to a place where at least be around people, and I respect that.
I can tell you
because something that Jason would want is whenever he had a problem with somebody, he would want them out of the group, and so he would have a problem with Martyr and Nacho when they have to be out of the group, and then he would have a problem with Gwen and Indigo. They both got to be out of the group.
There was always just one little small thing that would always piss him off about them.
I got to ask
invalidating their previous relationship.
I got to ask the question of the folks here who talk to him and stuff like that. I have never had any indication that he had a problem with me in any way, shape, or form.
You know what? No, you are the one person I don't think you ever did or would have.
He mentioned some stuff to me.
Did he? He never did.
He did.
So there we go.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like when I mentioned that I was sort of like Jason's confidant. I don't think there's any person in the group that he did not talk to me and say, I have a problem with this person and here's why.
I think I might have them from him because I have DMs from people that were yeeted off of Twitter.
Well,
so I'm scrolling.
But
looking for treasure.
Oh, I've got DMs from Mags.
but
oh my god, I didn't realize that.
Piper. Quiet time.
Focus.
Awesome.
Focus.
Anyway,
I just want to add one thing to all this because I've started my brain's working slowly, trying to piece together stuff. It doesn't work so well anymore. But Jason had this habit during graded. Actually, it started probably at the end of back issues and through Graded Point 5's existence. I was barely able to hang out with the group because degenerative health issues, and so he was starting to message me a lot to talk about comics, and he would say every so often he would say, I'm glad I can talk to you about comics because it's so hard to talk to everyone else about comics, and you and I are on the same page about comics. Even though he didn't want me on the show, he would, because I would tell him, well, if they're having problems with them, I know I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention right now. I can try to find some energy to help. He's, oh, no, you're not. I wouldn't trouble you. I don't want you on the podcast. Some excuse. You always have a random excuse.
Yeah. And
because I'd offer, because he sounded upset with everybody, because I wasn't involved at the time. I was trying to, me and Indigo were going doctor to doctor to doctor, trying to figure out what was going on. I was just tired.
Well, a lot of the problem, Gwen, is that Jason's a very self-centered person. Right?
Yes.
Like, I felt touched that he was talking to me.
Yeah, but still, if you're not making his life better in his mind, we're talking about his mind. We're not, reality. We're talking about mind. Then you know, that's just the way he was. As far as I'm going to point out something to Jason, to Jameson in the chat. When I said mediator, I was talking about Doc or Josh. Doc Bray is the one who I was talking who do like the mediating.
Yes.
As far as I know, he's not.
I just got anxiety and depression. So.
Yeah. He's just. He's like.
I just got your run of the mill bullshit.
Yeah. Jason was the one that's got the bipolar disorder.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're clear on clarifying that.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna, you know, and here's the funny thing. There was an episode of Graded Podcast, and you know, try to differentiate from the show, you know, the live shows and stuff like that we do now.
Which you can still find on iTunes, Google Play, all those. I made sure
Some of
those
them are
weren't
uploaded
needed.
here.
Those are still online.
Some of them are on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That, and now remember what you know the incident with Cab that I talked about earlier, right? And we were talking about doing a Godzilla episode. I think you remember that, Cab. Cab died.
He's got his headphones muted too.
Wow. What
You
a
have to poke him.
Son of a bitch.
tremendous gay.
Don't worry. Doesn't matter. He's dead and gay. And fucking.
Hey, people in the chat tell.
I think he's muted because he's in the chat listening with us.
Yeah.
He's
He's
like,
probably muted
he's a
because of
spectator now.
explosions in the background.
Yeah, people in the chat call Cab a big gay for not listening. But yeah, we were doing a Godzilla. It was the Godzilla Goes to Hell line, and we were just talking about doing it. I was like, yeah, and I remember we were on a Discord. I was talking, yeah, we're gonna do this, and Cab said, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And next thing you know, Jason says, hey, Cab, you want to come do the show
Mm-hmm.
and talk about Godzilla? And Cab's like, well, yeah, sure, because you know, Cab's not.
well, also probably telling Jordan about how much he hates those fucking Myers Twitter people and
Oh. I'll let Wayne finish, and then I'll go into the Myers Twitter thing.
Yeah, a forced meme, and it's not funny, and we're doing actual harm.
You're doing real harm to Matt Myers, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you understand?
Never
By
tried.
worshiping his big bald head, he might kill himself.
I just want to say one thing. I'm starting to wonder if every time he would randomly poke me was just because he was upset at you guys, and that's what motivated him to talk to me and reach out all those times. It wasn't because he cared about me. It's because he was upset at you guys.
Could be.
couldn't talk to us, so we had to go down the list to be like, who am I not pissed at now?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't.
I'm not pissed at her now. Let's talk to them.
Yeah, I don't want to say that was entirely the thing. I'd like to believe there was a part of him that genuinely cared about you, Gwen, but at the same time, knowing what I know about Jason, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it meant so much to me that he was one of the few people to reach out to me and talk randomly. And just learning what I just learned today and all of this, I'm kind of floored.
Understandable.
You know,
Yeah,
because I have a hard time reaching out to people because I can't think straight. I'm in so much pain most of the time, and when I can think, I'm hyper focusing on one or two things that I really care about, and so it means a lot when people reach out to me. And when Jason disappeared, I felt like there was this hole that wasn't going to be filled, because who's going to reach out to me randomly and be thoughtful and let me know that they're still thinking about me? But then turns out maybe it wasn't because he was being thoughtful about me at all. He was just angry at other people. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself.
Well,
This is the impact. But
unfortunately, yeah, it's
this is what he did. He would
yeah.
burn everything to the ground and then try to crawl back. And, you know, most people wouldn't even want an apology. They would just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mostly dealt with Jason. I would deal with him in his good days. But if he said something I didn't like, I just wouldn't talk to him. Right?
Right.
I'm just that kind of person. You say something I don't like, I'm not going to talk to you. Now, if there's a situation, and let me not bullshit. If there's a situation where sometimes I don't get back to you, that's not, don't think anything that I'm not talking to you because I'm mad at you or anything. I just might not have seen it or I'm busy.
Yeah, like some shit's going on, popping on with
Right.
the health shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as
I always
Jason-
just assumed you went to the donut dimension.
Yeah, that's where I go. I go disappear.
Time moves differently there.
I was there for 5 years.
God damn it! I was only in there for 5 minutes. It's been 4 months, Wayne. You went to go take a piss.
My favorite, that's my favorite thing.
We
When Wayne's,
moved on.
we're doing like RMH, and then Wayne's like, "All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a piss." 3 hours later, no word. He just fucking died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here's what happens. I can explain that. Sometimes I have I've said before my mother is pretty sick, and so I'm basically a caregiver. And I have to at certain times in the night because my mom's she's a night owl like I am, right? Go down there and go downstairs and check on her, make sure everything's good. Get her stuff, get her all her stuff lined up for the night so she can get to sleep. And that takes about an hour. I come back upstairs and usually we'll try to get back on TeamSpeak or I'm sorry, Discord or something like that, and I might fall asleep. Right, it's one of the other. So that's neither here nor there. As far as this goes, I don't think anybody here. Looking at the chat real quick, I don't think anybody here who has not had a negative interaction with Chase. Maybe
Remember when I used to send clown buttholes to people?
Maybe Xavier. I don't know.
I think I'm the only one that hasn't had a negative interaction with him because I think when I finally came into the fold, started joining the TeamSpeak stuff, it was like the week before he fucked off and didn't come back.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was literally
To be fair, I didn't know I had a negative interaction.
No opinion could be formed at that point, right? Like.
I think I remember Jordan coming in one day and just being super fucking pissed and just bitching about Jason like a whole bunch. I'm like.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I think that was when a lot of stuff had got like I'd reached my breaking point because for the entire time that I knew the guy, I had just been bombarded with all this shit about how all these other people who were my friends were pieces of shit, and I was just like, well, I'll try to help him through his problems,
To be fair, he was right.
I mean, yeah, you guys are fucking awful, but you're still my friends.
You're all the dregs of society, you sons of bitches.
But I still love you in the most homosexual way possible.
We got a little Florida here, so I mean, what do you say? What can you say? So.
I mean, me and Cab have a date later where I'm gonna rub my beard on his butt cheeks. Is what we're saying.
Get that stubble.
Yeah, man.
Get it.
We're gonna
get
point
it
out.
nice get it shaved, but not like all the way. Not all the way to the skin, so you can get this little roughness. Like.
Yeah, you got a little of that roughness. You can just gonna rub it on there.
What are you doing in my chat?
Okay, we're gonna point out that it's not gay for him to rub his beard on another man's butthole because
Piper.
The balls aren't touching.
No,
what Piper's doing right now is showing hole.
Yeah. No, see, Xavier, what CNN taught us is if both parties are conservative, it's not actually gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I vote Republican, so I can't be gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I used to see articles about that going around on the Twitters that straight guys were having gay sex. It wasn't gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about having gay sex, but
they were they were going the distance according to these articles.
Oh my god.
Now, rubbing your beard on someone's ass is totally different.
Yeah, that's not gay sex. There's nothing gay about that. It's just,
that's just bros. That's just you're just massaging his top of.
It's not
his
even
butt.
a sexual thing. It's hygiene.
Yeah.
Get that tension out, and then you just lean down to give him a kiss on his cheek, his butt cheek, and then. That's just what bros do. I don't know. That's not gay.
Yeah.
That's just courtesy.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, I got to duck out. You guys have a fantastic night. Catch you later.
Yeah, you too, dude.
Have a good night, man.
You can pull over by cops. He's about to be on live PD.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Piper's in
Gonna
the
get
chat,
tased on live TV.
She has no idea what's going on anymore.
That's her fault.
Yeah.
She's probably talking right now, and she's muted.
Oh, talking about Piper.
Yeah.
What a dumb bitch! Holy shit!
Oh, I'm
But
gonna
she
dunk on Piper.
showing hole in chat.
Yeah. Yeah. She's showing everything. Gwen.
Oh,
I'm talking to you.
Gwen.
I wanted to say something to you.
I think my emotions are a little bit more in control now. I just
Yeah.
want to apologize for my outburst.
Don't apologize.
No, you're
Don't-
okay.
don't.
You're
Yeah.
I
absolutely
don't
fine.
like disrupting people.
No, don't just.
No,
I
you're
was out
fine.
I don't even know what happened. I was making a grilled cheese.
God damn.
If you are what you eat, then you're just grilled cheese.
I'm eating grilled cheese right now, and it's mediocre, but it's all I got. So.
For your mediocre grilled cheese, I'm so sorry.
Oh
See,
no.
all you gotta do to spice that shit up is you get a little bit of onion powder and you get a little bit of fucking garlic powder. A little bit more onion powder than the garlic powder, and you just kind of sprinkle that shit on the butter while you're frying your fucking grilled cheese. It's
You
fucking
can probably
killer.
find some human flesh around that no one's using.
Hey, there you go.
I'm-
Yeah, probably.
I'm eating grilled cheese, man. I'm not like worried about jazzing it up.
Nah, dude, you
I have-
gotta jazz it up. You gotta treat yourself.
I got some potatoes and bread. That's all I got,
See,
man. So I'm not worried about.
Jordan Peterson would tell you to make you food like you were making food for somebody else, or something like that.
Yeah, that might be worse depending on who that is.
Yeah, I'll make them a grilled cheese too. Then I don't give a shit.
But
And if Caleb's listening, he's like, "Damn, dude, I want a grilled cheese right now."
No, what did Gwen wild out or something? I don't, that's
no,
what I'm
Gwen
saying. I
was
missed
just-
it.
No.
She had an emotional moment.
Yeah.
Because
Was it heated gamer moment?
Yeah, I was just about
No.
to say.
it wasn't heated game.
No inwards.
No N-words. She didn't wall out.
No,
Oh,
she didn't.
man.
She didn't while out. Just learning some of the things that Jason had said or thought about her, just kind of put things in a less positive light than she wanted to keep in her heart. I think.
Here's the thing about Jason, because I only known him for a couple years, and I don't really have any problems with him. But like you guys said, it depends on the day you catch him.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I was the worst motherfucker on the planet. Next day, he respects my opinion and wants to know what I think about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
And then
okay.
And then wanted you on his podcast. Remember that was.
Yeah, then that's the reason I'm fucking here right now is because he wanted me on. I was like, what? Okay. Like, I don't know why. I'm not really a comic book person. I'm not like super into all that stuff.
Say,
So.
hey, you want to talk about Godzilla? You're like, well, all right, yeah, fine.
I mean, I know. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Talk about Godzilla's comic book or whatever.
Yeah. And
So.
yeah, and all the donuts have been eaten. Just to let everybody know.
I love Piper's Hole's been eaten.
Yeah, all the Piper's souls have been eaten.
Wait, you wanted to say something, Gwen?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, just
Deep breaths.
learning a lot of stuff and just trying to process through everything again, because I can only remember in bits and pieces. It's just all these years that everyone just.
It's
I
unexpected.
kind of feel sorry for him, but I feel
Yeah.
more sorry for everybody around him because all these great things and people would spend so much time to try to help him with his problems, and I did everything I could. I told him, you need to seek help, here's what you can do with X, because I was bipolar, and I tried to give him advice on being bipolar, and he'd always have an excuse. And Mike would put up with it for 14 god-darn years, and for me it was only maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it's
About
everyone
4.
else,
yeah. Well, the
5-4. I don't know how long Gamergate was.
The ride never ends, my dude.
what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's still going on.
Supposedly
It's
still
forever.
going.
Still
Your
2014,
mom
I mean,
is
they
still
gave me the
going.
hashtag
Oh,
was
shit.
tweeted yesterday, so
But it's like friendship didn't. It feels like friendship never really meant anything to him. And like
It's-
all the things he worked on obviously didn't mean like he
It would
told
depend
how mu-
on. He's bipolar, so it would depend, I think, on that wave. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
I just want to repeat, if I may, Jameson in the chat says, "Gwen, just be you, and it's all good. So do not apologize, okay?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's what I was trying to say when I was bringing up my relationship with Jason.
Yeah.
It's you sort of have to just take it as it is. It's like don't.
You
Yeah.
roll.
Someone's wild. It's like okay, well, whatever.
Mhm.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Okay.
any of
Thing
you
is,
guys,
I never really internalized that about Jason because most of the time I didn't interact with him as closely as other people.
Mhm.
So, and often my interactions with him, he would come to me, or I was on TeamSpeak already talking to everyone else, and he'd hop on. So,
Right.
and also like I don't remember things fully. I
Mhm.
sometimes have to be reminded of things I already knew, and it's like they're new again to me. My brain's going, unfortunately.
But the thing, the big thing to take away from this is, how did we get to this point? So, very succinctly, one day, and remember, talking about the conversations that Jordan and Josh were having with Jason in the background, where it got to the point where Jason was going to blow everything up, and when I say this, he was actively trying to.
Mhm.
And
Is this
instead
when
of-
y'all kind of went on a hiatus and
Mhm.
or something? And I was like, "Am I really fired?" Because
Yeah.
I wasn't hearing anything about any more podcasts. and I was
and
like,
we're having to reconfigure things because I was just about to try to shepherd the talk over to when Jason had given the reins to the site away.
Didn't he
Because-
try to
Okay.
fire Daryl though?
Well, Daryl, yeah, well, we'll kind of get on that because
We'll get
"Oh
on that.
goodness."
yeah, because there was two people that we were never supposed to have on the site ever, even though he was
Oh,
giving
I
up
forgot about that.
and one of them was the founder of the site, Daryl.
Yep.
The other one was
What?
Dick because he had personal issues with them, and he
Mhm.
said he never wanted them on the show or anything again, even as he was giving it away and backing away from everybody.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also to the fact, when he was doing this, and Josh will remember this moment. This was during the time when people, when things were found out about, James Gunn, some of the jokes he made back in the day about.
We got to talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, the pedophile jokes and things like that, right? And here's my thing. I find those kind of jokes. I mean, you can say them, you can do them. I find them personally distasteful, but you can make them. It's a free country, right? Should James Gunn have got fired over something that happened 6-7 years ago? No. I've always been. But at the end of the day, I said it's Disney's decision. What can you do about it, right?
Right.
And what did Disney do? They brought him back, so whatever.
Don't matter.
Jason took on this Twitter account, on the Graded Point 5 Twitter account, which I have a thing, and Josh knows what I'm talking about. When it's a brand Twitter account, you try not to stir too much of a pot, right?
And
Yeah.
Taco needs to.
You rate people.
Now the intern, what they're doing right now is approved.
Yeah, and so the intern has reached out to Wayne to say, "Yo, fam, is this okay? Am I being too spicy?"
Yeah, and
No, you mean Taco?
Yeah. Well, Taco the intern.
Yeah, Taco's is asking that of Wayne.
Yeah. But Jordan's just quoting Taco. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Taco comes to me and it says, "Hey, I wanna dunk on so and so, Ken." I said, "Well, as long as you don't use the N-word, it's
And then Taco goes, "I'm gonna use the N-word."
Yeah. So, excuse me. So during this period, so he was talking about the James Gunn thing, and so he was actively trying. He would make heinous sounding things like saying, "Well, after I go and fist this baby," and things like
Yeah.
that. And then,
He was doing
What?
edgelord shit. Yeah.
yeah, and then he would come on into Discords and stuff like that. He says, "Ha ha ha! I lost 30 followers." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Is that what we're trying to do?"
I remember him talking to me on
Yeah,
Steam.
and you would
being-
talk. You had talked to me, Wayne. Sorry, they interrupted you, Jordan. But you would come to me like, "Is this going to be the thing now? Like, is this
Because I was
what we're
like-
doing?"
I was like a step out the door at that point, right? Because I was like, I'm not gonna.
Oh, that's right.
I was not gonna deal with that. I was like, I don't care if you make a joke, fine, whatever. But if you're happy about losing audience and you're trying to build an audience, I don't see the logic. I was like, then what am I doing here? What's the point of being here? I'm gonna leave.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan, go ahead.
Well, I remember one of the big things that Jason would talk about during that time was like, oh man, this tweet blew up and have like 4 fucking responses.
Yeah, that's a blow up. Yeah.
Yeah, that fucking exploded, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the stuff with Josh, like what you were talking about, Wayne, where like you'd be like, oh, I lost this many people. I'm like, do you want to do that? Like, what are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
used to get like 200 fucking like retweets on a fucking tweet during the GG days. That was blowing the fuck up.
yeah.
4 is like nothing.
Yeah. And my favorite thing was Jason refused to have a private Twitter account.
Yeah.
And a lot of that could have been alleviated if he just had his own fucking Twitter account. Like he could have had a private one, say all the fucking baby fisting jokes you want to say, because Wayne might find them distasteful. I find them fucking hilarious because I'm a fucking terrible person.
But the point is,
Do
like
it.
I said,
Do it privately.
But what I'm saying is, I find them distasteful, but you can do what you want because it's a free country.
Right.
Right.
No, I get you.
Yeah, but my thing was on a brand account.
Yeah, and I agree with you there.
Trying to alienate your audience, like.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, he would often come to me telling me how great it was that he was scaring people away, and he would tell me, I just remembered, he would tell me that he didn't deserve to have an audience, so he needed to
I don't
scare them
disagree with
away.
him there.
But then he would also complain to me about how he didn't have as much of an audience, and I would tell him, dude, you got to treat 10 people viewing you as you would 100 people, as 10, 100,000 million people viewing you. You got to look at them all as individual eyeballs that are coming to see and appreciate your content and grow from there. You gotta treat them all equally. He's like, bullshit.
Speaking of treating your audience as well, you better all listeners better go see ogchan.com right now, because it's the most lit webcomic on the internet.
It really is.
You better read OG Chan. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an ad.
It's fine. Oh, there was one thing, Josh, I wanted to mention that I think you're forgetting about as far as Jason goes when it comes to audiences. You know what that is?
Okay. What's that?
You have to be fucking entertaining first.
I thought it was the no blacks loud.
I mean, we seem to have a pretty decent audience, and I'm around, so
Good point.
This is why we keep you around, Cap.
keeps darkies in their places.
I wonder
Thank you.
sometimes. Now, we recorded when we recorded the first episode of Operation Retcon, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm pulling in Cab, and like Cab said, I don't know none of my comics. I said, are you, you're somewhat creative, so I want you there, right?
Right.
Because we would have things like and I would point it out. I wasn't like Jason. Jason his thing was you got to read the comic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know everything about. I was like, here's a wiki article about it. If you want to read the comic, here's this. But the wiki's fine. Just get an overview of it, and then we can go from there. That was my statement on doing that. I wonder sometimes if that went so well that he resented it. Like, because I thought that first episode was really good.
Was that the one we did on Identity Crisis?
I believe it was. It was Infinite Crisis or One More Day. It was one of those.
No, it was One More Day with
yeah, because that's where
May. Yeah,
that's where the fuck on May thing came from. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Aunt May's just.
That's right. Oh my god, the fuck Aunt May bit.
Fuck Aunt May. Yeah.
God damn.
All the Cavs retcoms was like, don't change anything, just kill Aunt May.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
No, you're not. But that was my favorite fucking thing that any people associated with this shit has ever done. Where you'd bring up some stuff and you're like, oh, by the way, at the end, you kill Aunt May.
Yeah, even if it was DC.
it wouldn't have anything to do with Spider-Man. Just be like, also kill Aunt May.
Yeah.
You could be fucking Young Bloods or whatever that image shit is, and then kill Aunt May. And then
Kill Aunt
I don't give a shit.
I think one time, Cab, like we were doing. I think it was Infinite Crisis. and
Yeah, I was the one with all the Peter Parker clones and shit, right?
no, that's the other one.
Or-
That's,
or
that's,
no,
that's
no,
Clone
it's-
Saga. We're talking
Clone
about
Saga, yeah.
But we're talking about Infinite Crisis, which is a DC event, and even you said, "Well, we need
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
is
yeah.
You need to port Aunt May to the DC universe and then kill her."
Yeah, it would solve 90% of all problems.
Yeah.
But like I said, I
This
wonder
new
sometimes-
52 and all that shit, it would solve it.
Yeah, like I always said, if like that first episode I thought was really good because I tried to, it's kind of like I do here, try to steer the boat a little bit. I ain't trying to, whatever. I wonder if he resented the fact that it went so well.
I think he because
Maybe he
like,
never
and I think I've
verbalized it,
talked.
but I wonder if that was like because once soon after that is when it all blew up.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember all the conversations we had about you, Wayne, but I do think one of the big elements is you are a confident person. Like, you know what you know what you don't know, and at the end of the day, you just want to make a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's entire identity was built on him being this like powerhouse of comic book knowledge. And nigga, you doing some scrapies over there? What's going on?
Doing lines. Fuck off.
Red lines?
Yes, red lines. But I do think the fact that like you knew what you wanted to do, and I don't think Jason's heart has ever really been into doing the podcast, which is why there'd be sometimes we'd go a couple weeks without an episode.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like especially now when you look at how we're doing a nightly show and we're going for a couple hours every single night, like that would never happen to Jason. I think he probably felt intimidated by you because even though you wanted to help him, you didn't want to take shit over.
No, I didn't.
He probably felt like you wanted to just because I think that might have been partly my fault too, because I did mention, I was like, man, that episode was really fucking great. Like Wayne fucking kept us on topic. Like when people started getting froggy, he brought us back in line, which is something Jason could never do because he just didn't have that presence.
Or he would fall asleep or whatever.
Or he'd fucking fall asleep, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think, in a very real way, he probably was intimidated by you. Just and nothing, not because of anything that you were doing, because I don't really.
Like I said, I don't think he had an ill word about me or anything like that.
No,
it's just.
It's hard to be around him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, when I knew he was wilding out, and sometimes Mike or Josh or somebody would try to drop, say, hey, Jason's, in the wild out. I'm like, all right. And when I say all right, because it doesn't bother me, because I wouldn't engage, right? I was like,
right.
I am one of those people, and unless you're, somebody like all the people here, right, come to me and say, hey, I got an issue. What's up? I'll talk to you, right? But if all you're doing is going through a cycle where you're just I'm going to be pissed off for whatever reason and stuff like that, I got nothing for you. I'm not going to deal with it. I got too much going on in my own fucking life. No time for it. Right?
Yeah.
As they say, Muhammad went to the mountain didn't come to Muhammad. I'm the motherfucking mountain.
And actually, I do remember only one thing that he had wrong with Optimus, but it was before any of this happened.
Oh, yeah? This will be interesting.
You were talking to Otter Jesus back before Otter Jesus spurged out, and he said,
God.
Optimus is talking to Otter Jesus, so I can't have him on my comic show that I want to do. This was before he started the comic show.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean,
He was
honestly.
talking to me about it, and it's like, well, Optimus is talking to him. I really want Optimus, but I'm afraid he might do a show with Otter Jesus instead because Otter Jesus loves comics, so I can't talk to him because fuck Otter Jesus, and he's talking to Otter Jesus, and he might do a podcast with Otter Jesus, and
Wow.
blah 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 blah. Otter Jesus Optimus podcast, blah blah blah.
So so Piper and Cab, I think at this point we need to remove Wayne from the show.
He seems like a piece of shit now.
Were any of y'all around for fucking me and Otter Jesus like stalking the crap out of me?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Otter
I
Jesus-
remember this. I remember this.
Otter Jesus.
Oh, you got
you,
you got super thirsty.
Yeah.
No!
He's
We-
gay. He's gay, but he
Yeah.
he
He
hated
like
the
went
fuck out of
nuts.
people.
Like at some point we followed each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like way back. because
That
he
a long
was,
time ago.
yeah, like he was nice or
He was an
whatever.
okay guy.
And and he was funny and stuff like that. I didn't interact very much.
There
And
was a
then-
point in time he was an office rocker. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It was
then-
before he got famous.
Yeah,
keep
see,
on.
and then at one point, he flipped out over Deadpool's movie rating,
Oh yeah, because it was a.
and
it
I
was
said,
a hard R, and he was like, "Why?" He was upset.
yeah,
and, I was
and
like,
so
think
I gave
saw
him-
that conversation because you were like, "Have you read the comics?"
yeah. And he
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, this writer, the way this writer wrote Deadpool, he could be PG-13." And I was like, "Well, obviously he's not based on that one." And then he lost his shit for like a year.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm serious, dude. I only recently got rid of him like last year.
I found out why what actually happened to him, why he shifted partly.
Because I was gonna say I had to block him multiple ways. He was fucking like still getting screenshots. And, oh my
Yeah.
god, man, it was.
Yeah. I
It's
saw
unsettling.
screenshots of him going after me privately over something stupid. But I haven't surfaced. Well, I've kept them in case he did anything to me.
He did mine publicly.
I don't like sharing confidential information publicly unless it's a dire circumstance.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying he did mine publicly. That's
Oh, yeah,
all.
He didn't do me, but here's the thing. He has a lot of medical problems, and his parents refuse to actually get him proper help.
I
At
figured
all.
something like that. I had other people, man. See, and I had other people telling me,
Yeah, and
just let it be. He'll get bored, and
don't let-
this and that.
no,
Yeah.
Don't let it be. If his parents don't deal with it, it's not going to be done.
No, I mean, let it be because he's got problems.
Oh, yeah,
just
no, fuck that.
he'll get bored with stalking your feed and stuff
he won't.
eventually. No,
Somebody-
he did not.
Wait. So somebody with autism is going to get bored.
That's a lot of people were using that as defense. They were like, he's autistic, these things happen and stuff like that. And then he would quote tweet that and go, "She's calling me an autist." And I'm like,
But
that was
you-
something somebody was saying to me. Like,
and
come on.
Also, you
Yeah,
are a
he's-
self-admitted.
He was
autist.
more than autistic, but yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's a self-admitted autist. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently when somebody told me that he was, that made me bad.
his thing is he lost it primarily. He got doxxed somewhere, and he started trying to figure out who was the person that doxxed him, and so he went on this he went kind of crazy trying to figure out who betrayed him.
Oh,
And
so everybody that became an
between-
enemy.
between that and his parents not. When some of his friends try to tell his parents, "Hey, you need to get him off the internet," so that he can and get him to see a proper doctor right now, they didn't want to do shit. They basically enabled him and his down. They'd been enabling him his entire life, and they enabled his death spiral.
well,
People had who were able to contact them contacted them, and they wouldn't listen.
Dang.
I seem to remember that whole I think he blamed like MomBot for getting doxxed. He blamed. At one point, I think he blamed.
He went
Donald
like through a whole list of people.
He actually blamed Donald
Jeez.
Trump one time. Dude, he went on a total. I mean, he went on a bitch fit when it looked like Donald Trump was going to be the nominee for the Republican Party. Holy crap! Like,
But I'm just, yeah.
and
But I just want to say one thing. Take Jason out of Jesus as a cautionary tale. If you have a mental problem, get it dealt with.
it's okay.
Don't try
Yeah.
and self-medicate
Shrink.
with weed.
Yeah,
Oh my
God.
goodness, do not.
Yeah,
do
more
not.
alcohol.
I want to
Jason.
say if you're bipolar, because my dad was bipolar, and I've known other bipolar people. If you're bipolar and you're on weed, what it does is it elongates your cycle. It makes it take a lot longer than it would otherwise. So you're at your highs longer, you're at your lows longer, you're in the middle, and kind of deal with the bull longer.
And
But
not
it
to
doesn't
mention-
solve the problem.
Not to
And a
mention
lot
that
of
Jason would mix weed with his other medications.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
drinking, especially near the end of the friendship, partnerships, or whatever you want to end up calling them. And yeah, lots of alcohol.
But the
I
whole,
kept trying to explain to him that if you have bipolar, you need to not be smoking a lot of weed. I know, because it's going to make it not good. If you have X mental condition, you shouldn't be on X thing. I know it's a common coping mechanism, but
Yeah.
your mistake. It's not actually treating the things that you want it to treat.
Yeah, some things will actually enhance it.
I have like nothing to going on, but I'm just gonna point out that I got a DMCA notice from Wham.
What?
What?
I posted that fucking Christmas song for Christmas
Oh, that
last
Christmas?
year.
Yeah.
Last Christmas
Last
song,
year?
and yeah, I posted
So,
the video
wait,
of it, and
from
they
6
fucking got a
months
DMC
ago.
notice. Yeah, and I got a DMC notice for it like 2 days ago on my fucking email. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna delete it. Just leave me fuck alone. That's all I had to say.
That's funny. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about DMCA's, and then like fucking Cab gets DMCA'd by Wham.
Fucking
Get
George.
wrecked, boy.
If George Michael was alive, I would be like, look, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
my
going on, big guy?
So the reason, yeah, I changed a little something on the screen because we were talking about it, and yeah, don't mix weed with with your actual medication, because as Zach would tell you, yeah, it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
If you look at the stream right now, he's just sitting there in front of the car, like
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bad idea.
We're about to hit him.
yeah.
Time to die for that shitty haircut, boy.
Zach, no, get out of the way.
And it's even better now because you're the one driving, so you're gonna run him over.
Oh yeah. Well, he should.
Yeah, you're catching that homicide.
Well, he shouldn't have, I mean, and to be fair, he's dying because of that haircut. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, that's the TBH.
Yeah, but yeah, the long short of it is, so when was it? August last year? August sound about right?
You talk about the transition?
Yeah. One day in the Discord. By the way, the Discord was at the time a room in the Super Nerdland chat that only had like 5 people to be able to access it.
Oh yeah, because Jason started a Discord for Graded Point 5, and then he deleted it because he didn't like the people he invited to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He didn't like the people he invited to it.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that he invited, that he allowed in. And so there was a private, and I remember Josh made a very clear thing about it. I'm going to do this, but you gotta quit with the leaving bullshit.
Yeah.
Remember that, Josh?
Oh yeah, because so a little private, just a Graded Point 5 channel so they could discuss show stuff in the Super Nerdland Discord, and I made a role for Graded Point 5 people, so the Graded Point 5 people could be in the Graded Point 5 room. But whenever you leave a Discord, any roles that were granted to you, gone.
So you gotta go and redo it. And
So he would come back to the Discord, then I had to go ahead and add the role again. Then he would leave again, and then.
And so finally, Josh said, "Okay, no more. You don't leave anymore." And his only response was, "I'm sorry." So in the midst of all this, and I'm sure there were some behind the scenes things going on with Jordan and Josh where they were, because like I said, this was the point where Jason was going to yeet everything. He was going to destroy it.
Yep.
It was done. I was honestly going to leave because I was tired of it. Apparently he still, I don't know if he still wanted to fire Piper or not, but and so
I don't think I think at that point, like
That
most
blew
conversations me and him were having, most conversations we were having was he just wanted to be gone.
Yeah, it was either he wanted to be gone or he didn't want to do anything, and so most of it was just Josh and Jordan saying, "Okay, we'll do this."
Yeah, because he came into that Discord channel and he's like, "Okay, I'm y'all want it, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, this is yours. Do what you will, but I request one thing: that Dick and Daryl never be on the show."
And what was funny is okay, and then the conversation shifted to me and Josh and Jordan, and they said, "Wayne, can you be content director?" "Sure, no problem. If that's what you want, fine." And he said, okay, what about Dick and Josh? I said, everything that Jason said before his is discarded.
I remember that.
That is some dumb bullshit. I'm not holding a grudge for somebody else.
Right.
You know, that's not the way I intended to operate. I said, anybody wants to write something for the site, if it's good, we're going to put it up. If it's bad, we'll probably still put it up. But
Content's content.
Yeah.
All those Jason rules into the trash bin.
That's pretty much what it was. It was literally,
pretty much.
You can ask Jordan. It was literally a month and a half of rebuilding.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I'm looking at this, and I was like, okay, so first thing we did was like we wiped. Well, we didn't totally wipe, but we did a soft wipe of the Twitter account.
Yeah. God, I went through.
What was like a 4 or 5 months you had to go through and.
I went through almost half a year of tweets just like getting rid of this and this and this and this. Ooh, definitely. Like all that James Gunn shit was the first fucking thing. I was like, nope, eating all that.
Mm-hmm. Because even though Jordan, like he said, he finds those jokes funny, which is fine, he knows, as I do, you don't put that on your brand account.
No, you put that on your own shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't. Like, it's okay to be a little bit spicy. You know,
Yeah, the
you
intern
treat.
is doing fine. I'm not dogging on the intern.
Oh yeah. you do what fucking like Niche Gamer does. You do what Josh does with the Super Nerdland account.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice, a little memery. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Like I said,
But don't talk about fisting
Did he ever
kids.
tell you guys why he kept deleting his personal accounts and only posting on his official account, his branded accounts?
Probably had people following him that he didn't like or some shit.
I do know that was part of it. Oh, we didn't mention the Adrian thing. Fuck.
Okay. Yeah. Setting this up. Okay, so
What?
this was Adrian, Superior Edit Man, who was in the chat earlier. Hope he's still listening. I think
Oh, yeah,
he's
okay.
talking Turbo. We were setting up the whole as a lark. One night we all got together. Friday night, let's watch some fucking movies. And they said, "Well, what should we watch?" I said, "I want to watch fucking Godzilla." And Jordan was, and I said, "What?" And they said, "What you watch?" Jordan said, "I want to see Godzilla versus Gigan." Right? I was like, fine, fuck it. We'll watch Godzilla versus Gigan. So we're all sitting around watching fucking Godzilla versus Gigan. Right? As we're doing it, we're basically dubbing over it as we're doing it, you know, just like having fun, right?
Just riffing it and having a good time.
Just riffing it and stuff like that, and like, you know, Godzilla show up, and I'm like, and it's like, oh, I got to put up with this bullshit again, you know, kind of thing, you know, that Godzilla voice and stuff like that. Having a good time, and then it just came to, I was like, guys, you know, I think it was, I forgot who said it, but it was like somebody said, guys, we should abridge this.
Yeah.
And
And that's
Adrian
what Adrian
started
did.
playing around. He started like doing a little clip here and there. You know, he's like, all right, I'll do a clip. You know, it's like, and it was good. He said, hey, can you do this voice? Sure. You know, did that. Can you do this? Yeah. And it started coming together. Well, Adrian's, you know, got really good at it. So he's like, all right, well, you know, we're going to do it. And so we watched other movies and things like that, and ideas of, you know, maybe we could do this, we could do that. Well, Adrian made an account. It was called, what was it? Was it Friends Casting Couch or something like that? It was something.
Yeah, like Friendly Casting Couch or Friends Casting Couch. The FCC.
Yeah. Friends Casting Couch, and it had like Godzilla sitting on the casting couch, right? You know, that was the joke.
Fun Time Casting Couch.
Fun Time Casting Couch. That's
Yeah.
what it was. The Fun Time Casting Couch. Well, Jason went and made a new account. And he shared it on, I don't know, what was it? It was either Discord or
Probably Discord.
What's one of the other? It was either Discord or TeamSpeak, one or the other. And Jason had a bit of a... Oh, I forgot. Because in Godzilla vs. Gigan, there is a literal hippie.
Yeah.
A literal hippie character. He's dressed like a fucking hippie. And we all had the idea, well, the literal hippie should be played by the, quote, literal hippie, unquote. Because you know, Jason tries to call himself a hippie, but, you know, we know.
We know better.
So we said, okay, Jason, you want to be the hippie? No. Okay. No
And then
problem.
immediately,
Jordan, you wanna
Adrian's like, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hey, Jordan, you want to be the hippie? Yeah. And then so, okay, fine. All right, we're good. So we got that going on. At one point, there was another part, which was one of Ghidorah's heads. We had this idea. It's like, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like each head had a different voice, and one of the ideas was that Jason would be one of the heads, and be the stoner voice, right? And the joke was like he would just have like maybe one or two lines, but one of the lines was like, when the fuck did you two get here?
Right.
We're talking about the other two heads,
Well, now Wayne, do you remember the important bit about that role being given to him?
Because he wanted it.
Well, because I explained after he later came to me complaining that he wasn't going to be able to be the hippie anymore.
Right.
And I was like, but you turned it down. He's like, do you want to roll? And then I think I might have mentioned to somebody else, and then one of you guys were like, hey, we'll do this. We'll find a way to put Jason in. Which I don't understand, because he had a role that was perfect for him, and he fucking turned it down. It wasn't, again, maybe just because everybody else was being involved and he wasn't. He felt he was being outed or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and then, to touch on what the Chad is talking about, Cab was the main character.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was the Cab cinematic universe.
Yeah. Cab played the main character because Cab's really good at.
What was one of the?
Yeah.
What was one of them? It was a Bucci Runner, like 2049 or something.
Yeah,
Caleb made a whole bunch of them. It was funny.
Yeah. In it's his quest for Bucci, and Cab had one of the funnier lines. Like one of the characters runs into Cab's character, and Cab goes, "Hey, Thought, come back here and get patrolled." Shit like that. And then of course the famous interaction between Caleb and Cab was Caleb. They were talking about the machinations that they were doing, and one of the things, like, he wanted titties on a Godzilla statue.
And remember, no penis.
And then Caleb goes, remember, no penis. And Cab's character goes, oh, come on. Oh.
Yeah. I was deeply disappointed.
Yeah.
And remember, no penis.
Yeah. Cab, he's going through that. Trap Runner 2049,
Caleb was
Cab 10 America, the Bucci Soldier, Cab Wars, the Last Bucci, Breaking Cab. But he was that, and I was the voice of Godzilla, and it was a nice ensemble piece, I would say.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make too.
Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, Adrian made this account because this is going to be the account. He's calling it a Fun Time Casting Couch because he's going to do more projects than just Godzilla stuff, right?
Yeah.
And to make fun of the casting.
Oh, speaking of, y'all should check out Truth or Nation. It's sorry, I have to shill like
Mike the ad guy.
That's an ad.
It's available on SoundCloud, so go check it out. It's the Truth or Nation.
Yeah, it's
you'll regret learning the truth.
You open your third eye to the universe. But no. So
anyway,
so Adrian made this account, and Jason shared his thing. His new Twitter account. Adrian, I guess we happened to be on that account, and he followed him on it.
Yep.
Boy, howdy.
And then guess who got a message immediately afterward, lamenting the fact that he was being followed? I don't want anything to do with that fucking Godzilla shit. Why the fuck? Adrian knows I don't care for it. Why is he following me on that account?
And Adrian's response was, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, I literally didn't know that it was a problem.
Mm-hmm. And point out, just to give some clarification, Adrian and Mike, who Evil Bob in here, they're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
like literal brothers. So just to put
wow,
that in context.
that's my first time learning that.
Yeah, one's the good brother and one's the evil brother.
Oh my god.
Well, no, they're both the good brothers. The evil brother is the Jordan brother.
Yes.
Yeah, and not the Jordan brother in here, the other Jordan.
Yeah, because not the Jordan that's a brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's messed up. I only just now learned that.
I remember it now.
Okay.
Did you not notice the fact that we both sort of have the same sort of cadence? Both sort of, if you like.
I think she probably just figured that
Both
it's
say
because you were
sorry all the time.
I don't know what he sounds like.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, you can't expect Piper to pay attention to fucking anything. She can't pay attention to the conversations we have on the show.
I don't think
Also-
I've been in a voice thing with him
You
though.
might not have, and honestly.
Yeah, it's possible.
Also, you're both Canadian,
Yeah.
This is true.
so it throws a lot of shit off.
When we both look forward to the day of the rake.
Yeah, y'all all already kind of sound the same, so I'm not going to assume that everybody in Canada is related. Damn.
Well, they are. They are.
Yeah, they really
Well, I
are.
was being nice.
Does the Day of the Rake have anything to do with the shitty horror monster, creepy pasta monster, the Rake?
No. This is like the day of the rope, but instead it's the day of the rake.
That's when we. That's
Oh,
when the.
you gotta rake up all the leaves.
That's when the Trumpenreich.
That's when
the Trumpenreich marches
Yeah.
upon the Canadian border, and
I was just about to say that's when Trump makes Fallout real. we nuke China and we take over Canada.
We're gonna annex
Great.
Canada.
I will
Yeah.
always, use
Jeez.
the, I will
I'm
always use
sorry.
the word Trumpenreich because when Cab made a was it Galactic Civilization you made it in?
Yeah.
It was either that or Stellaris. I think it was Stellaris.
Might have been Stellaris. Yeah, Cab made was it a government or whatever you call it, and he called it the Trumpenreich. So
Yeah, no, it was Stellaris, and I had like Donald Trump, the fifth or something leading it.
Like every descendant was just another Donald Trump.
It was just always the Donald Trump that took over, and I had that joke emblem. You know, it's like his head with the hair, like in a profile with like the red, white, and blue kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the emblem for the Empire. So it was on the giant fucking screen. You'd be like a galactic map, and you see fucking Trump's head in the stars, and it was pretty hilarious.
So whenever I talk about like there's going to be a, whenever they like talk about like Trump invading something, I said the Trumpenreich is becoming real.
Yeah, it's
Good lord.
But
it's gonna happen.
But yeah, no, so that happened. That was at the end. That was the blow up. And like I said, I think he attempted a couple times to come back, and I think Jordan finally had it out with him. He was like, "All right, look, go deal with your shit. I am done with this," kind of thing.
You wanna
Yeah.
like? I don't have anything much to do with all that stuff, but like when my the one comment I had that stuck out was like when all this stuff was going on, and I was talking to Optimus or Wayne, whatever, and then I was like, it was Jordan told him to chill out.
Yeah.
Because you'd always been one of the ones that wilded out too, and I was like, "Whoa, Jason's off the rocker so bad that Jordan seems like the chill one here."
I just remember like months of, guys, am I fired? Are we doing anything?
During that
was I actually fired? Is everybody fucking with me? Because I haven't heard from anybody in like this amount of time.
I think that was the first time I DM'd you. I was like, okay, first, you're not fired. Second, I'm retooling everything. We'll be back in production soon. Don't worry.
I can't remember. One of y'all was like, you realize you can hang out with us in the in TeamSpeak, not just to record podcasts.
Also, that's the first time we found out that she has a Mac.
Yeah.
So she struggles every fucking time to get onto the
We
TeamSpeak.
bully her so hard.
She deserves it though.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, for buying a Mac, that's like you.
Look, when I bought it, I was still in school, and it was because they were teaching all of our shit on a Mac. So I was like, if I want to fucking do this shit at home, I'll just fucking get a Mac with that student loan
And you
money.
want to hear some bullshit? So her Mac is of a vintage that it can only take certain OS X updates, and OBS.
Yeah, it's on its last one. It can't go any
OBS
higher.
only works on certain later versions of OS X, so she can't even install like OBS.
Yeah.
I actually have not tried. I
No,
have the
you were
second to latest one. Did I try?
You were trying with me, remember?
Okay, yeah.
Because you were asking me for a link to the classic OBS classic.
Wait,
You don't have
hold
that
up,
for Mac.
hold up a second. I don't even know anything about Mac, but what kind of Hebrew shit is it that you can't update your hardware to the newest? Like as bad as Microsoft is, if I have a hard drive, I can update Windows 10 and an internet connection. It's not that there's no.
That's how Apple fucking gets
Honestly,
you.
Apple updates will only like certain major updates. They don't give out to all their hardware. They just do not make like certain big tiers.
I can hear Hava Nagila playing in the background right now. What's up? It's a good song, but like for real.
I have to say it the second to latest.
All of Steve Jobs. You say it hard enough, he'll come and help.
Oh man.
No, it's Steve Jobs Akbar.
Yes. Steve Jobs Akbar.
Well, I would switch a lot of my stuff over if I had the room and money for a normal people desktop.
So here's what I'm going to try to get her to do if we can. Because if you have an Intel Mac, you can install Boot Camp and just put Windows on that motherfucker.
Yeah, that still won't help with the hardware.
It won't help with the hardware, but you'll be able to install OBS.
Yep, it's good.
You'll be able to install real people stuff.
Real people stuff.
You'll be like a real girl.
I just need to know how big your Mac is. Is it a little Mac or a Big Mac? It's important.
It is a Big Mac.
Hey, Jordan, give me that. Wait a minute. Give me that. Wait a minute on the board. Give me that. Wait a minute.
I don't have it.
You don't have it.
Wait, which way? You talking about this? Wait a minute.
Did not break that table. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Listen, Jameson. Listen, Jameson. Wow, Optimus finally said something funny. Let me tell you something, you piece of shit.
Okay, Jameson, let me tell you something, you piece of shit. You right.
You're right.
He's on point.
You're exactly right.
You're going to be made a moderator now.
It's fine. He's not there to be funny.
You know what? Hold on a second.
So how did you guys restructure after?
Why can't I make moderators anymore?
Because you are not the channel owner.
I was able to before.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Contact Google.
Yeah, contact Google. Anyway, Gwen, you were asking a question.
Yeah, I was just so you threw all of Jason's rules into the trash bin, and
including the format.
Including the format.
Mm-hmm.
It was a podcast before,
and we talk about whatever. Pretty well.
Yeah,
in entertainment.
Well, the whatevering technically came later. We stuck to comics for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
on the stream.
I made it wasn't a rule. I just said like, hey guys, we're going to talk about Comicsgate.
What?
You cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, hey guys, we're going to talk about Comicsgate, and like Jordan, and everybody was like, yep, okay, because that was
because up to that point. Jason was very adamant that we did not discuss Comicsgate at all. Yeah. Despite being a website dedicated to comics news.
The biggest thing happening in comics since
we're not going to talk about it.
But I guess to better answer your question, Gwen, like how we restructured, instead of just doing the podcast, we were trying to have a very expanded idea of what we were doing for content. Like I had become like the lead writer, so I was trying to put out a written article every single week. Wayne, of course, was being the content manager behind doing the two podcasts we were going to try to run, which we ended up like folding into one before it became like a live show. Also, we were trying to put out videos as supplemental content, so that way people weren't just coming to the site once a week. They actually had stuff they could be either reading or watching more or less every single day. So that was kind of the way we were restructuring things, just to give the site more of a presence rather than just being a repository of just like.
Also, speaking of reading, check out Super Nerdland's May issue.
Hey, no, seriously, no, hey, Super Nerdland, we relaunched our magazine issue format.
What the?
I didn't do it.
Nerdland.com.
I'm writing an article about a manga.
Nice.
Everybody.
That was me.
Oh, Cab did it.
Cab, you madman.
You're absolute madman.
No, I can't.
That's why I'm here, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna dog on them for advertising because.
No, we're just fucking with them. It's no big deal.
I make mods for Stellaris.
Huh? Sorry.
Be gone! Hot!
Oh no! Bring her back.
You know, I just assumed that.
I miss this so much.
There we go.
All the time.
Now all is right with the world.
See, Piper, you just had to get that delayed reaction.
thought for sure that she was about to go, and she didn't go.
Yeah, no. When I heard "Be Gone" thought, I was like, oh, I'm getting muted. So I got quiet, and then I realized it wasn't me. And then, of
You were
course,
like, "Yay."
And then it happened.
Right?
yeah, then it happened while I was talking.
But no, what was I saying? I can't say too much because the Graded Point 5 website is hosted on the server on Super Nerdland server. So
Well, you know.
I do a lot of back end stuff for a lot of people.
and right now, honestly, not the
He's really good at massaging those back ends.
yeah.
Hey baby.
And the server, I mean, basically, it's just like what you just do a re-upload of the shows and different things, or rehosting, not rehosting, but you link to them or whatever. I don't know how you do it.
There's a YouTube import plugin that I go ahead and click for Wayne because I don't feel like teaching him it.
Damn, dog.
I don't have a week to explain this shit to this dumbass.
Can't go to wizarding school.
Yeah, ever since I found out they send their poop to India, I don't want to deal with no wizards.
Oh, is that where they send it?
I don't know if you
Some
remember-
J.K. Rowling's approved.
Yeah.
Is
She
that
said
what's
something
on?
like before the Wizarding World had toilets, they would just magically make their shit disappear and would just go somewhere. So we just said India.
So that's why they can't take the poo to the loo. Makes
Right.
perfect sense.
Right.
Oh,
They just
she
got
must have
used to
stole
it.
that idea from me. Back when I was a little kid, that's what I wished for, that magical power.
You could,
To take the poo to the loo?
or make
No,
the
to
poo
just make
disappear.
my poop teleport.
Yeah.
And not have to actually go to the bathroom because that wasted so much time.
Well, yeah. it's a good
How
point.
much time do you waste taking a shit? Damn.
Depends.
I've had gastroparesis that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, some people we've
Like,
got some
even-
digestive problems.
even when you're like a kid?
Yeah, it turns out my symptoms I've had. I've been getting a bunch of new testing done. It's taken me a lot of doctors before they take my symptoms seriously. A lot of doctors wouldn't even send me to a specialist. I've had to go to like 2 separate specialists. I'm on my 3rd, but
and I had to. I remember talking to you, Gwen, about that. I said, Gwen, from what you described to me, I think you got this.
yeah,
Mm.
you're right. And it's and I did some research, and the research showed that, sometimes for some people it's degenerative and it gets worse over time, which would explain that why my medication stopped working.
Yep. And
That my one doctor gave me.
that also relates to the Piper I was talking to you the other night about the vagus nerve. It's just basically all the same
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So yeah. Not to get
Yeah,
too
I'm
medical.
definitely asking my doctor about that because it would be fucking hilarious if you figured out my problems that doctors have been looking into for years.
I'll put it this like the reason I know about this stuff, just real quick, is because my mom suffered everything that y'all are going through, right? So I have a repository, not a suppository.
A
because that would
suppository?
be,
A suppository, the suppository of knowledge. It'll get you infinite.
just stick it up your ass.
Lee Harvey Oswald
God.
shot Jim from the book Suppository.
So does Wayne keep all of his knowledge in his ass? Is that what he's trying to tell
It's
us?
a big ass, so
Yes.
yeah.
Basically, he's saying you pull it out your ass.
That's fine.
I mean,
Hey,
I was
it's a
gonna say,
good place
talking about
to-
having a big ass. I mean, when you fat as hell, you got a big everything.
That's true.
But yeah, no. And I know I have some other condition as well, but
Well,
Yeah.
as my mom says, Gwen, and I'll put this advice to you too from what she says, you take it one day at a time and one symptom at a time. That's really all you can do.
Yeah.
yeah, I've been doing
Yeah.
that my whole life. But it's hard when doctors just
Yeah, that's
don't
the big.
do their
That's the
job.
big. It took mom with her current problems when we were getting to down her. She was getting down to like 95 pounds and couldn't eat and stuff like that. I had to. It took driving, taking her almost 60 miles out of town, to get her somebody who knew what they were doing and could help her. So I know.
Yeah, the
feeling.
doctors didn't start treating me seriously until recently when I lost 20 pounds in a month.
Yeah, that'll get it.
Like I couldn't eat at all.
Me, they've diagnosed some things, but
Well, you told
there's
me the other day.
still
it's like-
some that they haven't figured out.
Yeah, didn't they tell you like something like it's basically like IBS, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm on some medicine and it helps, but the problem is they are actually looking because I do have symptoms that don't qualify as IBS.
Yeah.
On top of that, and so I've done so many weird freaking tests and had cameras in every hole. It's
Yeah,
and they're still shrugging and going. I don't see anything wrong with your pooper.
There's always a test they haven't thought of. There's
Yeah.
always a test they haven't thought of.
And I just want to make clear that this is the one time Piper didn't want something shoved in an orifice.
Yeah. Well, luckily enough, I was asleep for 'em. Those are some funny stories too, but
Yeah,
some really hilarious stories.
I've had cameras in several orifices too. Now it's just has to happen. You have to consent.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to consent to the doctors.
You just got to relax and take it.
I have this horrible story where there was
Bad
this
joke,
cute
bad.
doctor in training, and that like I was flirting with because he was cute. And then the real doctor came in and was like, "All right, bend over this contraption and pull down your pants." And I'm like, "No!" He's like, "He's gonna stay in here for this. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, man."
Do you guys remember? That reminded me. You remember that episode of The Simpsons where you found out like Mr. Burns will go through like a bunch of treatments to live for another week.
Yeah.
And one of the things like Dr. Nick would say is like, "Don't worry, you won't feel a thing until I jam this down your throat." So, except for Piper, it was and she's like one time she was like, "No, I don't want, do not want."
Yeah.
So-
If you end up with either irritable bowel syndrome or fibromyalgia as a diagnosis, go find another doctor because those are diagnoses that can only be assured by exclusion.
Yep.
Oh, and that was the first one that they.
Yes, if a doctor, if the first one a doctor goes to for your symptoms is IBS or fibromyalgia, and I think there's another one, it means that they are not trying hard enough because you can only determine those once you've tried to find everything else.
Wow.
And
yeah.
fibromyalgia is specifically we don't know why you're in pain disorder.
Yeah.
It's like there's something fucked up with your nerves and we don't know why, so we're gonna
Yeah, and you can't. In the U.S. at least, Social Security doesn't consider fibromyalgia an actual disorder.
I hear doggos.
Because it's not.
So Wayne is.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of catch-all term for.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wayne, I think it might be time for a message from our sponsors.
Yes.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
Piper's favorite.
I took off my headphones. I learned.
That bad.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys. I'm glad that I was really sad when he dropped Mylan Zombie Studios. I love the name, and so I'm glad you guys were able to hold on to Graded Point 5.
It's like
I'm glad you didn't lose everything. I don't even know if we saved all the articles from the old MZS at all, but I'm so glad you guys were able to save it.
Well, the thing with Graded that I see it as, it's a brand, right? And
Yeah.
the brand would be used to facilitate whatever content somebody would like to create, right? I know Piper wants to do videos. Jordan, I know you said you wanted to do some content as well.
Doggos again.
And the dog obviously wants to do something.
Wants to add Borks.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, with my goal is I want Graded to grow, and I want it to be a healthy growth, and I want to be able to facilitate and help people, do the things they want to do,
Yeah.
And
I
a big
love
reason
comics.
I know you turned it over to a stream format and to a more YouTube focused format was that it was originally a podcast, and the podcast was Jason's format, and you decide they kept up with the podcast for just a little bit, but it was a good decision that Wayne made that he wanted to go and make this a format he actually wanted to do, that he felt strong in doing, and this is what you are listening to now, Graded Point Live.
Yep. And
I like it a lot better because I feel like I'm talking to
and we get
the
to
people
interact
that are
with our
listening.
fans.
Yeah.
Or the chat. I had to say fans because it makes me feel, you know what I mean? I look at them.
I mean, I was gonna say fans implies that they like us.
That's true.
Fans implies that they help you cool off.
They come in. They come to watch the train wreck, and they're never disappointed. So.
Well, it worked for Rut and Rye's old stream.
Yeah. That was Rye's a good guy.
Yeah.
But
He is.
But no, yeah. So that's how we got from the origins to now. So if anybody ever asks, how'd you get to grade 0.5? We'll refer to them to this like 2-hour plus live stream that we did, and let them know. Yeah, if you want the story, this and it sounds like a lot of the reason why we focused a lot on Jason and stuff is because if not for that, we wouldn't be here, right?
Jason at least brought us together.
Right.
Yep.
And somebody asked earlier, do you guys get along now? Yeah, we
all of us do. Yeah, like as far as like the groups that stayed together, all of this shit kind of was like a trial by fire. We're forged by fire. We've already been through some shit.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Mm-hmm. And also, that's one of the things. It's like people want to knock on us and stuff like that. Yeah, we knock on each other harder than anybody else ever would. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. The floor knocks on me harder than any of you can.
Well, it's like, let's put it this way. Gwen, she won't mind me saying this. Gwen is an actual lesbian, right? And she is still less gay than Cab.
Damn dog.
Oh, yeah, totally.
How dare you?
Cab, it's okay. I got your back, buddy. I'm just gonna let him. He needs to be alone. I mean, I don't think he's ever gonna recover from that shit.
You feel better now that you got your time away?
Yeah, I was thinking about taking some time away, and I'm glad you guys did it for me. Because being on a headset is very stressful.
Yeah.
It's very tough to.
But no, for real, if I didn't have these over-the-ear headphones, I couldn't do this long of a stream. I have to have over-the-ear headphones, otherwise my ear cartilage starts just getting like stabbing pains.
Yeah, I can't do earbuds for very long at all. Definitely.
Yeah, I got cup headphones. I can't do it.
Yeah, I need comfy ones.
I thought you said you had cuck headphones. I was like,
he does. He does. They go with this cuck box.
Yeah.
There's actually a kind of headphone called cozy phones, and they're basically like a blanket for your head that also have like earphones in them. And they're basically these discs inside a headband. I love cozy phones; they're so comfy. You can also pull it over your face and block out the light from your eyes while listening to stuff without having to have those stupid earbuds. And you can just fall asleep while listening to stuff in your.
I just do heroin when I'm
comfort. I know. There's no one that knows more about comfort than me.
So Caleb says he's talking about Cab. He is the king of the gays after all. And Jameson for some reason is only talking to Piper in the chat and not just.
That's because I have the most fans out of all y'all.
Wow.
That's just because you. Look. It's because people think if they're nice to you, they'll get fucking whole.
Yeah, they're basically like, look, Piper, show hole. That's all they're saying.
Well,
Piper,
I mean,
please, will you show me your
I mean,
fucking
but
feet?
still,
just one toe. Come on, just one, man, please.
How else would you guys get fucking viewers though?
And then they find out it's actually just Cab's toe.
We pulled the switcheroo on you.
Am I going to have to flex nuts here for a second?
Yeah, please flex some nuts.
Do I have to point out that I made the video that got 23,000 views?
That's because I haven't made any videos yet. They stay for me. They watch the streams for me.
All right. By the way, Piper, now you realize you said that. Now, when you make a video and it gets like, maybe 150 views, we're gonna bust on your ass.
Oh yeah, I know. I know.
You're gonna eat all the shit right there.
Well, dude, Jordan is supposed to be helping edit the videos, and he already said he's gonna knock on the video.
I got a fucking full-time job. Don't give me any of that shit right now.
You didn't let me finish. He already said that he is gonna put his digs on the video in the video.
Yeah. I watched about.
We'll have a dunk on Piper in the video.
Yeah. So the Piper videos will have dunks on Piper in the.
Yeah, I think
the rule is that all thoughts must be patrolled, no matter what.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
That's
I'm in a committed lesbian relationship, so we're basically patrolling our own thoughts, which is each other.
That's a good thing about lesbians. They can patrol themselves. They can just y'all go over there.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, they stay out of trouble that way.
I don't know about out of trouble. You've seen the statistics.
I mean,
we are not going to talk about like the
We're not.
I was going to say we're not going to talk about the lesbian that Piper. I mean not Piper. That Cab keeps trying to get to show her butt to him. So
can we talk about that? Man, your 2 days are up, dude.
Yeah.
She didn't show hold of you yet. That's some bullshit.
To be fair, I haven't really been trying either. So
why the hell not? You were trying so hard for like 20 minutes.
The problem is she consents
20
that
minutes.
he's gay.
I got 20 minutes is all I'm good for. Sometimes I got to recharge like my. It's like my J.O. crystals. I got to recharge them. A lot of charging going on.
We're getting to them crazy hours now.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh crap! I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. Well,
I'm 40 minutes past when I wanted to. Well, actually, I'm like an hour and 40 minutes past when I really wanted to go to bed.
We're ready to close out.
My bedtime was like.
Oh my god, it's 20 till 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. We've been going for a bit.
Yeah.
I've been trying to close out for like 10 minutes.
We're a bunch of fucking autists.
Stop being funny for a second.
But basically, like I said, I not to repeat what I said earlier, but it's just like, this is the platform we want to build this platform. We want to make it good. We're going to hopefully have some fun times getting there, and that's what the streams are for. If you notice, like basically with the streams, we just laugh about what happened during the day, or something that was funny that come up. It's like, hey, let's talk about this. Okay. And like I said, I was wholeheartedly, it's like, yeah, let's do a history stream so everybody knows, because then you never have to
we kept referencing it randomly too, and we were like, nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, so now you have a place to point, and it's like, well, what happened? Oh yeah, here we go. So that's out of the way. But like I said, I thoroughly enjoy all these people here. I thoroughly enjoyed tonight. I look forward to doing more stuff in the future, and I will, just go ahead and announce that I'm going to be making a video about as Monica Rial and Ron Toye, which is now, I don't know if you heard this one, Jordan. They're now colloquially known as Mo-Ron.
That's good.
Yeah. Because I was calling her Ronica for the longest time, and then Liquid.
Veronica?
Yeah. Ronica, and then Liquid started
Ronica.
on me. He said, no, Mo-Ron. I'm like, I like it. I like it. That's good. Mo-Ron.
And you will probably never hear from me on this again, because you guys do this way too late for me.
And that's understandable, but you know what, Gwen? You're still my boy and my girl.
Yeah. And thank you for coming on tonight.
Yes,
this was great talking to you.
Greatly appreciate it. And we don't talk enough, Gwen. Hit me up on DMs.
I'll try to.
And I'll hit
remember
you up too randomly just to make sure you're good. Okay.
I appreciate when people check in on me, because I'm going through a lot right now.
I understand.
I'm asleep like 12 hours a day.
I'll promise to hit you up some more. I promise.
I promise to hit you.
I promise to hit you. I was talking to Kev when I said that.
And Piper really wants those wiener pains.
Yeah, apparently Cab wants to. So everybody, if next Thursday, Cab will be doing a weenie paint.
But now wait. Cab, are you gonna paint your weenie, or are you gonna paint with your
penis.
weenie?
Oh, I'm gonna put I'll do a Sharpie on my wiener and make a mustache and a face, and, and then use it to paint. So it's like a 2-for-1 if you think about it.
And it says, it's only weird if you cuddle afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Have any of you heard of vajazzling? Because
yes.
What's the male
Remember
equivalent?
that was a big thing. It was.
That's just
what's the male equivalent?
I'm not sure.
Cab,
Anyway.
I'm asking. He probably knows. He's gay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
What are we?
Cab, what
What
is it?
What's the
What?
male equivalent of
equivalent
vajazzling?
of vajazzling.
the fuck is a jazzling?
Vajazzling.
Beating up your.
It was the bejazzled thing, but on your vagina.
Yeah.
It's when you
It
put
was a 90s
rhinestones on
thing.
your coochie.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would do that?
It was a thing in the 90s. And I think it was Gwyneth Paltrow's fault, honestly.
Why are you bitches so stupid? What are you doing?
Because we have freedom, man. If you had freedom, you would do these things too.
See, you all worried about vajazzling your vajayjays, and you all ain't even getting pockets on your pants. What the fuck's wrong with your priorities?
Right?
Yeah.
what's up, man?
Like,
Well, I'm more concerned about the pockets. Now that it's hot, it glues my pockets shut. My tiny, itty bitty little pockets get stuck shut.
All right, that's enough. Later, buddy. See ya.
All right, straight up. We appreciate everybody. We will see you next week. Y'all have a good one.
No sound effect for that, really? Mm.
No.
I swear to God, Piper, you know what?
Go find yourselves a nice blanket and forget you ever heard anything.
I'm gonna go draw Piper's hot pockets later.
Okay. Y'all have a good night. We will see you Monday. I will have a video up sometime this weekend. Goodbye.
We need some milk.
Do your line, Piper.
What the fuck was that pocket shit?
Piper, do your line.
I was